All right, we are live, and I think normally what I do is an audio check. We can actually see our audio levels down there, and it looks pretty low, but we'll see. Yeah, we're doing this one kind of late at night. It's like, I don't know, quarter to midnight in Japan, but it's a little bit earlier in Taiwan. But I think that'll be okay because we'll get a lot of Western audiences hopefully awake. And today I am in Japan with my good friend James. We are in his shed. Yeah, we're in Fukushima, which not many people come here anymore for obvious reasons. Today's live stream is going to be us trying some Japanese snacks and talking a lot about living in Japan and living in Taiwan. What are the differences? What are the similarities? Just having a little chit chat. But I know the comment I'm going to get is about Fukushima. And, you know, the whole 2011, we have people saying, hi, hello. You know, in 2011, there was a big tsunami which destroyed some nuclear power plants or something like that.
That's right, yeah. It caused a nuclear power plant to kind of go into meltdown.
Right.
And
good. And nothing else happened.
And that was it. Like, it all melted down and everyone was fine and happy and nobody got hurt.
Right. And what, like, a lot of people, especially like when I told people on Instagram that I'm coming to Fukushima, I just want to get this out of the way because I know I'm going to get these comments. Yeah. A lot of people wanted to know why I'm coming to Fukushima and is it safe and all these other kind of things. You've lived here, you moved here basically right after the disaster.
That's right, yep. I moved here in May 2012.
And you're fine.
Yeah, I think.
So far.
So far, I mean, I lost a lot of weight. But I think that's due to eating better in Japan. But yeah, so far so good. And there's 3 million other people that live in Fukushima that seem to be doing just fine. So yeah, I think yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a tough one. People always say like, "Why do you live there?" Yeah, for the most part, life carried on really pretty normally, pretty quickly after the earthquake. And but for the rest of the world, it was a bigger deal than what it was for the people that actually lived here.
Right. It's almost like people around the world care more about it than people in Fukushima do.
Definitely.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I've been here for the last couple days, and everything seems completely normal.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you're planning on traveling to Fukushima, you'd be just fine. Rick, Joka, good night, Prazi. 要剩会 something 西的 I can't read that. Yeah, so should we get started?
Yes,
the first Japanese snack that we're going to be trying. Pardon the chest. I'm wearing James's shirt, which sounds incredibly gay. But I ran out of laundry. I'm just going to reach behind me and grab the first thing that I see.
Awesome. Go for it, bud.
Okay. What is this? Explain yourself.
Those are consomme flavored potato crisps.
Okay. Wow, your camera can even focus on this. That's impressive. Okay, so what flavor is that? I've never heard of that.
Consomme is basically like chicken stock, I think we would say.
Okay, interesting. Yep. Chicken stock flavored chips. Kavus, I can't read that. I'm here in Toronto and just love your clips. Keep it up and good luck. And Josh said nothing. He redacted the message.
Good for that, Josh.
I appreciate that from Toronto. I don't know what time it is in Toronto right now. Like, it could be 11 a.m. in Toronto. Spaniard, Gonzo from Niagara, friends with Primo and Shenzhen. Haven't seen Primo in years. Currently in Mexico. Saying what's up. Go Leafs, go. Aside from the Leafs thing, because they're never going to win the cup, what's up? It's so funny that we're mutual friends with Primo. He's a guy who lived in Shenzhen.
Right.
Good photographer. Joshi, yo, what's up, Prazi? Love watching your videos. Hope you're all doing well. I am. Thank you so much. But yeah, let's get into these crisps. Were these the ones that you said were your favorite?
I think these are, yeah. If I had to choose, like, I think Japanese chips. I like them because they're thinner.
We're gonna make a mess of your.
again, we're
in
here.
a shed right now, so
Yeah. It's
sorry.
I think Japanese. I don't know if anybody can see them, but they're really thin. They're thin compared to chips I've had before, and you'd think that that's a bad thing, but it means that you can just shove more in your mouth.
Right. Oh my god, yeah. They're like air.
Right?
Wow.
I'm glad you think the same. People always look at me weird when they say that.
The flavor is good.
Hmm.
I don't know that it tastes like chicken stock.
No.
It's just kind of like a salty, slightly sweet, very light crisp.
Mm.
That's impressive, yeah.
Yep.
I miss you, Prozzy. Brian Lynn. Don't know who you are. Yeah, they're good.
Yeah.
I just realized we're gonna have this problem like trying all these snacks, but not being able to like finish each one.
Yeah. I mean,
just leave that in for
first world problems, right?
Right. So I think I'll ask you a question.
Yeah.
And then we'll try a snack after that, and we'll go back and forth, right?
Sure.
So explain your situation. You moved to Japan in 2012.
Yep.
Walk us through that.
So, yep, I was in the UK, and I just kind of felt like I needed a change, and I did something called a working holiday visa.
Mm-hmm.
And that just means that you can come to Japan for a year and live and work and whatnot. And so I did that. Came to Fukushima. I came to Fukushima not because I was like especially interested in Fukushima, but there was a company offering jobs for working holiday staff at that time before you get here, which is not quite allowed. It's not in the spirit of the visa. The visa is supposed to be that you go there and you work and you travel and you experience it. And pick up little jobs along the way. But I was worried, so I set up a job before I got here, and that's why I moved to Fukushima. Did that job for a year, working in a hotel as a receptionist.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, that was an interesting experience.
Some of you are about to watch an ad. If you continue this live stream, I'll love you forever. Sorry. So Fukushima, right? And then did you stay in Fukushima?
That's right. So I stayed in Fukushima for 1 year, and then I went back to the UK for a short time, and then decided to come back to Japan. I thought, no, I'm going to give Tokyo a try. I lived in Tokyo for 2 years. I hated living in Tokyo. I hated it. It was awful. And then around about that time, I got offered a job back at the same place that I was working at before, and I just moved back to Fukushima.
And you've since gotten married?
That's correct. Yeah, I am married. Yep, to a girl that I met in my working holiday year.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the first Japanese girl you met, you're like marrying her.
Yep, done.
Pretty much. Yep.
Signed away.
Yep. And now you've like started a whole family, which is crazy. Like as your friend, it makes me so happy to see you like living a real life. You know, like you have this cool. This isn't his house. This is his shed. His house is outside over there. But you have this cool Japanese house. I mean, it looks Japanese, like in the countryside, straight out of the movie Totoro. You have a little daughter, and I don't know how much else I can say because I don't know what people know.
No. That, I mean, you've pretty well summed it up, to be honest. Yeah. I think a lot of people are in a similar position when you spend your 20s, like in one particular place. You end up setting up your life there, right? So yeah, but I've been very fortunate in some ways. We inherited the house that we live in. I'm very fortunate in the jobs that I've been able to get around here. I think one of the advantages of living in Fukushima over Tokyo, or really any major city, and this goes out to any foreigners thinking of like living abroad, is that of course living in a major city is great, and it's gonna be everything that you thought it was going to be, but there are many other foreigners there too, and your job opportunities will be fewer because there's somebody waiting to replace you. If you come to the countryside or somewhere less populated, then people are kind of more opportunities seem to come your way.
Sure. Yeah. Right. No, it's so fun and so cool to see you live like this super rural Japanese life. Yeah. Me, by contrast, like I don't have a wife or a kid, so, and I live in Taichung where it's like expensive and hot, and I don't own a house.
Right.
So I have a very different situation from my friend James here. Guild of Arcane Lords asking differences between China, Taiwan, and Japan. Yeah, that's pretty much what we're talking about today while trying Japanese snacks. Not much thinking. Spaniard says, not much thinking about visiting friends in Tainan in 2025 and seeing what the living is still like. Trying to keep up with Primo on Fortnite. He married a Filipino girl and has a baby on the way. Why are so many people friends with... Oh, it's the same guy. Yeah, I mean, I would recommend it. Tainan's all right. It's very relaxed, very chill compared to the rest of Taiwan. Very hot, but they're famous for good food, so I would give it a whirl. Next, Japanese snack. I'm not looking. I'm just grabbing. Okay, so we picked up in the store. This is weird. This is weird. None of you people watching right now will be able to guess what this is unless you read Japanese. Please walk us through this weird thing.
Sure. Okay, so this brings together a lot of what kids love.
Mm-hmm.
So it's got like sweets, candy, but also
so
like
this isn't real sushi.
Yeah, so this isn't real sushi. This is all like candy sushi, but it's not like the sushi is just in the box. You have to make it.
The first comment I got guessed it correctly.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Make your own sushi candy.
David, well done.
Thanks, David.
Well done, David.
Thanks for building that up.
Yeah. David nailed it.
Well done, David. Yeah. So David's got it in one.
Way to kill the mood, David.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah. You can put it together and like mix up water. And I've never done this myself. I've bought these for other people. But never done it myself. So.
Okay, so there's two. We bought two, one for you to do, one for me to do. So I'm going to find the other one. So basically, you pour water into like a sugar mixture or something, and then out comes whatever you wanted to make.
You got it.
Right. Okay. So the one I got is different. It's not sushi. It's a famous Japanese desserts. So there's like shaved ice, and I don't even know what that is, guys. I might. Okay. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. It's telling me when ads are coming up for some of you, and it's happening way too frequently. And I'm gonna find out if I can turn those off because that's really annoying. Soul Life says, I saw you on Canadian news in the U.S. when the earthquake happened. Wow, that's crazy because the Canadian news didn't interview me. The American news did.
Right.
Okay, so that's the inner package. Very weird. This one I imagine is like we can't just try it. It's going to take a minute.
Oh, I was wondering why it had like a leaf. I get it now.
Why does it have a leaf?
It's like the table that the sushi will rest on.
Okay. So that's kind of the inside. I just opened that, and this is the inside. It looks like ramen packets. There's so much. This is like 4 different packets in here, and then another one with 4 more packets, plus.
I've got a very similar thing going.
Whatever this is, plus sticks, plus adorable miniature blue spoon.
Wow,
this is weird.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, for me too. Like I've got all these like ramen packets, all these different powders and things. I've got like a pipette. I'm going to do a science experiment.
A pipette. Who says pipette?
No. People. What would you say?
A bottle.
A bottle?
A bottle.
A bottle? How crude.
Oh, it's like a squeezy thing. Yeah, I would call it a squeezy thing.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Jeez. How do we make this interesting for a live stream?
Wow.
I don't get it. So, do you know, does it tell you which?
Yeah.
So you have this tray that you're supposed to pour it into, but it doesn't tell you which tray to pour which thing in.
So my one's got instructions on the back of the box. Did you throw your box away?
I just threw it on the floor. Okay, so
yeah, I know what to do. How much Japanese can you read?
None.
If you read Mandarin,
so you're supposed to cut it. Yeah, but that's the thing. So in Japanese, they have kanji, which is like Chinese characters, but the meanings are different. Jim Flegg says, "You thought about Vietnam yet? I might go visit. I would never live there. It's just too
I'd
much.
like to visit.
Yeah, I don't. It doesn't seem like a very livable country. I visited once actually years ago with Simo. Takuma Media says, "How much Japanese can you read if you read Mandarin? What's your personal experience?" So me and James have been having this really fun experience where we see like signs or something around, or like temples, and they'll have like kanji on it, or Chinese characters as they're known. And I'm like, "Oh, that's the Chinese character for white," and he'll be like, "Yeah, it is in Japanese as well."
Yes.
But the sound that the character makes is different.
Yeah.
So I might be able to understand what a sign is saying, but the sounds it's actually making is different in the different languages. So there's a lot of similarities. So like for entrance and exit, it's the same. Like ru call and chu call. The sound might be different in Japanese, but the character is the exact same. Is it organic? There's nothing organic about whatever this is.
Free. It's organic. Yeah. It's free range.
Yeah. PETA something. I went to Taiwan to offer you, Prazi, add some drone videos from my drone and or help you with filming, but I checked out to ask you and went home. Oh, but I chickened out to ask you and went home. Well, you should have said hi. I don't have a drone. I don't know how drones work, so that'd be kind of cool to see how that is. Use the Google Goggles app to translate the box. Well, James, he can read Japanese, so we're fine there. I still can't figure out which 7 to use in Japanese. What does that mean? I still can't figure out which 7 to use in Japanese.
That rings bells, like, but which 7 to use in Japanese? Like the kanji 7 or just the regular number 7? You have to give me a little bit more there. I haven't got my glasses. I can't read that.
Yeah.
So
should we pop it back on that screen?
Yeah.
Let's restore the chat over here. Or I'll just read it. I don't know. I thought this was going to be way better, and it's not. I have you guys on a different monitor. It's way worse.
There's 2 7s. There's 2 7s.
2 7s to say? Your mouse is gone. Am I dumb?
Has it gone to sleep? I'm trying to click it. I'm going to turn back on. There you go. I'd just like to update you on my progress. I'm making this big white fluff. I think this is going to be the rice for my sushi.
I still remember my friends used to get so jealous when I bought these DIY candies for show and tell when I was a kid. They were considered expensive or fancy, Shandy says.
Oh. These were not expensive today.
No, these were not expensive at all. That shed would probably be big enough for a bachelor's pad for a guy living without a family. Are you suggesting I live in this shed? Funny story. I don't know where you.
Yeah, you can.
He just told me.
Yeah.
He just told me before we started the stream that his wife's aunt and uncle lived in this shed. Yeah, which is crazy. Like no AC or anything. That's just insane. Nana or Shichi. Those are the 2 different kinds of.
Oh, okay. Shichiji, like okay. Okay, so Nana. That is. So what would I say? So Shichiji would be like 7 as a time. Nana ko. Yeah, so you could use Nana to count things like 7. So you would never say like Nanaji. It would be Shichiji. I think that might be the only thing. I'm not sure. The trouble is, and I think Prozzy will agree, when you learn really any foreign language, you get to a certain point where you move away from textbooks and you start to speak the language as native people speak it.
Right, you kind of forget the why.
The why. You stop asking why. It's said like this.
You're just like, okay, fine. It's said like that.
It's said like this in this case, right? And there's probably a reason, and there's probably a good reason, and probably people could explain it better. But yeah, in my feeling, in my intuition, there, yeah, I would say shichi. Yeah, shichiji. I can't even say it separate anymore. Would be 7 o'clock. But Nana would be like for counting things.
Okay. Pasamio says, good to see the live stream. Shem, I have to go to work. It sucks, man. Have a good day at work, though.
Yeah.
Wishing you the best. Jim
trying.
Flegg says, I suck at Japanese. There are so many rules as to what word to use when and depending on your sex. Is that true?
Can be, and like different little feminine markers and things like that. Again, don't. This is really true of learning any language. I even tell it to my students when I'm teaching them English. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. Stop asking why, and start learning real Japanese as well. There seems to be, there's textbook Japanese, and then there's like real Japanese that is spoken by regular people. And I think when you speak textbook Japanese, it almost puts more distance between you and Japanese people who you want to speak to, because they're like, well, yeah, we can understand you, but nobody speaks like yours.
Right, yeah. Guild of Arcane Lore makes a good point, kind of like Chinese. When you're counting, you say R for 2, but if it's the time, you say liang.
Oh, is that right? Oh, yeah, that's a perfect example.
Lianga is 2. And actually, in China, in their Chinese, they have different ones. So I think for your phone number, 1 is Yao.
Oh.
But if you're counting, 1 is E.
Right.
So it's very different. I gave up on my. I'm not doing that. I'll give that to your missus. This is way too much work.
Yeah. I've started, so I'll finish.
Yeah, you finish that. I'm gonna pull out another snack just to keep this interesting. We'll go into our next little topic. I pulled out Super Mario candies, I think. I'm not entirely sure what these are, but I'm going to open them. I bought these because they have Mario on them, and that's like quintessentially Japanese. Fun fact, just to talk into some differences between Japan and Taiwan. Taiwanese people don't really eat candy that much. Or their candies are very traditional, so they'll have like dried plum candies or something, and they're not like that great. But like you can go to like they almost look like bargain bins basically around Chinese New Year, and they sell, I mean, just the lowest quality like candies and stuff that they eat. I really hate them. But Japan has like a lot of like fun, I think, because there's so many cultural exportable things they can put on the thing on the package. They're just like, whatever, I'll just sell them. So yeah, they're gummies.
Yeah, in my experience, yeah, Japanese kids freaking love sweets, and they're always tucking in.
Yeah, no, Chinese people don't really eat that many sweets compared. So they come in little packages. That's the fire flower from Mario. Guild of Arcane Lore says, true. I lived in Wuxi and Nanjing. Considered going to Taiwan, but I am too old. Well, you're never too old to come to Taiwan, unless you're like 80. Then yeah, okay, that might be pushing it. Ivan says, the pipette. Oh, sorry. Yes, the pipette. Now that you've mentioned it, you're absolutely right. I rarely see candies in Taiwan. Yeah, I mean, like, you'll see them in 7-Eleven, but like not nearly as much as I don't know, other countries. Will Die, that's such a good point. I can't agree more about asking why when learning a new language, no matter how authentic level you reach. Yeah. Jim Flegg says, I love the Kit Kats they have in Japan. Yeah, a lot of people really like those. What are they? They're
Green tea Kit Kats.
Green tea Kit Kats. That's right. Yeah, they're very good. Dennis says they even say normal chocolate is too sweet. That's true. So many different flavors. Takuma Media says, what would be your advice to learn Mandarin as a Japanese speaker? Any traps to avoid? So you speak Chinese. You are Japanese, but you want to learn Mandarin. Oh, well, you've already got to step up because you can read the characters and you know what they mean. The problem is you have to learn the new sounds that they make. I would say exactly what James says. Don't ask why, just accept that that's the way they do things. And also realize that speaking Chinese Mandarin is an incredibly simple language. There's like no verb tenses, no like anything like that. It's like, it's so simple. So it's actually not that hard. But advice, go to a language school and learn for the first couple of months. There's no way, I suppose it's different for a Japanese person, But there's no way for someone from the West to go to China or Taiwan and pick up Chinese. You don't just pick it up. You don't just hear it and now I know it. It's not the way it works. It's far too different of a language for you to just pick it up. So like I would say go to an actual school.
I would say that's true of Japanese as well. I mean, not that you're going to need help with that, but for anyone else listening, like, yeah, do a few lessons, go to a school, like, get those foundations, and then go out. I've often heard that, like, it's just that when you're all about learning and you're all about in the classroom and just building, just building up knowledge, and you never get a chance to use it, you're kind of like collecting bricks to build a house, but you never build a house. It's
right.
Just, you've got all this material and you don't know what to do with it. Like you learn all the rules, but you never play the game.
Yes, that's a good analogy for sure. This package, I must be missing something. This package has the flower from it, but the thing on it is Yoshi. Oh my god.
What are we saying?
That is very artificial tasting. Good lord. I'll open up a fish one for you.
Sullying Mario's good name.
It's just like...
You're a guest.
I know, yeah, right. I should respect your candies. Just give that a whirl and tell me that's not the most artificial flavored thing you've ever had. They're good. I'm not saying I wouldn't absolutely annihilate these sitting on the sofa watching a movie, but like they're not... Like these were made in a factory.
If I drank bleach and it tasted like this, like
I would drink bleach, yeah. Guild of Arcane Lords says, I'm 60, too old to get a job in Taiwan. Same for Japan. Sure, but there's always retirement. It's cheap.
I wouldn't say that's always true in Japan. Depending on your experience and whatnot. One thing Japan lacks is management and like teacher management and things like that. It's a job that really nobody really wants to do. And also as well, like, and me and Prozzy have been away for a long time. We're kind of exceptions to the rule because, I've seen people come and go through Japan like every couple of years, every 2 or 3 years, and then they eventually go back home. And then you've got losers like me who stay around.
Yeah.
And we fall up because nobody stays around. So I don't think it's impossible for a 60-year-old person to get a job in Japan at least.
Yeah, I mean, at least if it's something you're interested in, at least look into it and don't just throw your arms up and quit just because you think you're too old. But yeah. Jim Flagg says, I feel bad for people who have to learn English because of all the stupid plurals and pronouns. Yeah, that's true. English is a horrible language. I have to learn secondhand. I feel so lucky that I learned this from birth. I love Ivan says, I love the matcha-based candies in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can get some of them in Japanese stores in Taiwan too. Yeah, I don't know if they have a donkey store in Taichung. My friend told me they just opened one, but I don't know. I think you can get them in Taiwan. They're very good. Remembering characters and getting the tones right are probably the hardest part in learning Mandarin. The grammar is much simpler than Japanese, and that's true. Learning characters, I still don't even bother learning how to read because it's so difficult. I obviously should put in the effort, but I just don't. But yeah, tones are one of those things that it's like, if you just, when you learn the word, make sure you get the tone down packed, because if you learn the word and you're saying the wrong tones, really hard to fix that later on. And people who speak Mandarin cannot understand you if you say the right words, but with the wrong tones. They will not be able to put down to put what you're saying into context, right? Like a famous example, not a famous, but one that's mentioned a lot, is that, my friend, this is Alan's story actually, from Life in Taiwan. He went to a dumplings restaurant and he messed up the tones for dumplings. Now dumplings, I'm probably going to mess them up right now, is shui jiao, or sui jiao. I don't know. One is dumplings, one is sleep. I would have to say it in a sentence to get the context right. But they sound exactly the same. To you who don't speak Mandarin, you think I just said the same thing twice. They're entirely different words. But if you mess the tones up, even if you're in a dumpling shop, they will think you're saying sleep. I'm dead serious. So yeah, tones are important and they're very annoying. Yeah. So, yes, the tones. I would end any questions, but if you get the tone wrong, do you have a problem with your horse? Yeah, no, that's true. There's a Dongkido in Tiger City. Oh, really? Wow. Hey, Topher, my buddy. I went to war with this guy. He says he misses Japanese vending machines. So convenient. I will say the vending machines are pretty sweet. Like in Taiwan, where me and Topher live, we always have to go to like a 7 to go get drinks, which is like fine. It's not that inconvenient, but it's just kind of cool that you can set vending machines everywhere.
Yeah, drinks vending machines everywhere, and then like occasionally you'll get like ones that do food and whatnot.
Yeah. So how's this?
It's coming along.
You've done so much work, and I'd love you've gotten nowhere. I'm gonna grab another snack before we hit our next topic.
Yeah.
And Jake Blake says that's why the number 4 is bad luck, because it sounds like death, and you're right. That's true. So not looking.
What we got?
Wow. I think you bought these eggs for your family.
I did buy these eggs for my family. They were cheap.
You were supposed to put them like in the fridge or something.
Yeah. So I'll do that later.
Yeah. These are not Japanese snacks.
No.
Another ad. If you guys are getting too many ads, let me know. I want to see if I can fix that. I think this was also for your family too.
That's for me. So that's for me. Mosquitoes in Japan. Yeah. They'll eat you up. And especially out in the countryside where there's lots of like rice paddies and stuff like that. I've been bitten a lot. How about you? You've been bitten a lot?
I haven't been bitten at all.
Really?
In fact, when me and Topher were doing the military challenge, they let us sleep for not very long at all. And no one could sleep because I might be giving away the next episode and I shouldn't do that.
Steady.
But anyways, I was fine with mosquitoes. I think Topher got absolutely eaten alive. Yeah, so the next snack is this. Please explain. Because I don't know what this is.
I've never eaten this before, or indeed seen anybody eat it before, but it says taco senbei.
What's taco senbei?
Taco is octopus. Senbei is like a rice cracker.
Okay. So, and it has this instructions on the back. Are we supposed to do something?
I think this is a suggestion. Or perhaps not. Maybe there is things that you need to do with it. But again, I'm familiar with this snack myself.
So this is a new experience for you and me.
Which
means we're probably going to do it wrong, which means some Japanese person is going to yell at me. Topher says, no, I was fine too. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know, because I was fast asleep while something horrible happened to me that you totally could have prevented and didn't, because you were on guard duty. Again, can't give it away. There was a Japanese person in here.
Yeah, they could...
Those sunburn lines are ridiculous. Yeah, me and James went for a walk, and I got absolutely destroyed. I was wearing a wife beater. You can clearly see where it was on, even on camera.
That's wow. Even on that,
isn't that insane? I got destroyed. There's something Topher didn't escape. All the mosquitoes loved Bingshou. Yeah, which sucks because like I was his partner and basically just dropping the ball throughout the entire thing, and then he gets eaten by 11 mosquitoes. Yeah, when we were doing that military challenge, it was so hot. I mean, I can't even explain. We went to an onsen today, you and I together, and we went into that steam room. It was like 90 degrees Celsius in there. I swear to God, it was just like that.
Wow.
I was sunburnt so bad. I don't know if Topher was sunburned. I didn't have like hardly any sunscreen, and I peeled for like weeks after that.
Oh.
It was awful. God, it was hot. And then me and Topher both fell. We had to do a running exercise, and me and him fell in the exact same spot. God, and like, I fell right on my shoulder, and my shoulder was like sunburned, so I like fell on a sunburn. So it's just like if the skin didn't hurt enough, I ripped it off my body. That sucked.
Totally messed this up. I totally messed up my sushi. I had rice, I had egg, I had tuna. And you're supposed to keep them all separate, and then put them all together at the end. But I mixed up the.
Well done.
I can't believe it.
All of that work. That was like a good 20 minutes you were at that.
It was fun.
Okay.
Okay, well, now it's ruined. I might as well try it. Now I'll try that first, and then I'll come back to this failure. I'll taste my failure.
Sure.
It tastes like my childhood.
Yeah, Canadians are not good in the sun. That's true. And Topher says, CCY and Jinbao are on guard duty. I did get sunburned. Yeah, but what the hell were you doing awake? Everybody could have stopped it. Doesn't smell that bad. Again, someone's going to yell at us because we're probably not supposed to eat it this way.
Yeah.
You have that. Whoa.
That's a hell of...
This is a Japanese snack. This is something that would go well. If it tastes like octopus, it would go well in Taiwan because Taiwanese people love seafood flavored snacks. This is weird. I can cover my whole face with this.
All right, here we go. Oh, I quite like it.
Wow. Very weird. It tastes like, okay. This is going to sound retarded. When I was in like middle school, there was this like thing going around that streamers, you know, party streamers that you hang up.
Yep.
If you lick them, they taste spicy. Which is so stupid, but they do taste spicy. Don't ask how I know. This tastes like party streamers.
It's very specific.
I know.
Yeah.
But they taste like not like octopus. There's a hint of seafoody saltiness.
Like, I can only imagine that this is what like packing material tastes a bit like.
Styrofoam. You don't call it styrofoam, do you? In
I think
England.
So. Well,
Don't you have a weird word? Don't you?
Polystyrene?
Maybe.
Styrofoam? I've said styrofoam.
Yeah. It's like, it starts off being crunchy, and then it like dissolves into your mouth into nothingness.
It does,
it's like if I put this in water, it would just dissipate, dissolve. I mean,
like that clip with the raccoons.
Yes, just like that. What time is it there? Aren't you 12 hours ahead of us? In Japan, it's 12:21 at night. So that's I don't know where you are. Pita Vofical. Prozzy, I've noticed you don't do cost of living videos, at least lately. Did it change a lot since COVID? Did it change? I don't. It's hard to tell when you live there. You know what I mean? Like when it changes slowly. But I do think it got more expensive. I can make another cost of living video. I've just made a video comparing Taiwanese apartments to Japanese apartments, but it's not out yet because I'm waiting for the subtitles to come back on that one. But there's some cost of living in there. Yeah.
I finished my...
They're so big. You're gonna have to do some talking so I can finish this. I'll ask you a question.
Okay.
What is it like to live in rural Fukushima, Japan? Which that's kind of an impossible question to answer because you mean like, what do you mean? What is it like?
Yeah.
But I mean, if you compared it to, I guess because we don't have any lens or any context to view it through.
Yep.
You know, I think when people think Japan, they either think downtown Tokyo cyberpunk,
sure,
or Totoro
pop culture.
Right. Yeah, and you're very much in the Totoro countryside of things.
Yep.
How similar is it? Do you feel that way? Like, you know, after you live in a while, that whole that sparkle kind of goes away. That kind of like, ooh, I'm in a cool place. Is that like?
I'd say it definitely gets very normal very quickly. I think. Right. I think maybe that's just. You don't. Yeah, I don't often remember that I live in Japan, or I live in the countryside, or it becomes so normal sometimes. Sometimes you're shaken a bit and you think, oh wow, like, you know, like I actually am in Asia. Because the one thing to say, and you will definitely agree, is like Japan is the most Western of the. I mean, like, think about that strip mall place I took you to. You know?
Okay, sure. So we went to the shops, and I was like, oh my god, this looks just like North America. These strip malls.
Yeah, right. So you can, yeah, for most of the time you kind of forget that you're living in Japan. But to keep it specific to Fukushima, yeah, it's just, I mean, it becomes so normal so quickly. So to find the things that people find interesting, it's not until somebody visits you and you live kind of vicariously through their discovery. You're like, oh yeah, that is amazing. Oh yeah, that is interesting.
That's a good point. I found that way when you came to visit me in Taiwan, because I think that's why. So you came to visit me in Taiwan 2 times now.
Yes, I have. Yes.
And I think one of the things that you said, not to put words in your mouth, but one of the things that you said you really liked about Taiwan is that it has that Asian feel, as in it's got that rough around the edges sort of like food stalls you can go to eat at.
Exactly. Yeah. It's really difficult to say that in a way that's not going to offend anyone, but it's like, yeah, it's what I thought Asia would be like a little bit more rough around the edges, like, yeah, you know, night markets, night stalls.
It's so funny that you say that, because I see Japan as what I thought Asia was going to be like.
Really?
Like,
oh, interesting.
I think more so in Tokyo, but also it depends. Like in Taiwan, Taipei is a very different place from Taichung. You know,
right?
So sometimes when I'm in Taipei, I'm like, oh wow, this is Asia. You know.
Yep.
But yeah,
I think there's something to be said about like understanding your surroundings and understanding the language. Right. So when you do, it loses a lot of that mystery. So,
right.
So you know, I'm not constantly in a state of awe anymore because I understand what's going on around me.
Sure. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Next snack.
What have we got?
Kirby Gummies.
Yay.
I wonder if this is going to be the same artificial flavor as the Mario Gummies. But I like Kirby. I like his character. I think it's funny, and I saw these on the shelf, and I thought, you know what? I'll have that. So yeah, so we went to the onsen today, and that was interesting.
Yeah, what'd you think?
I really liked it. It was really relaxing. We have hot springs in Taiwan, but I don't know that people just like walk around naked.
Yeah, I'd like to know. Like, whoa.
So, these are big gummies.
Yeah, that's a lot bigger than I thought it would be.
Yeah, that's one gummy. They look like 2 stuck together. Do you want to go?
Cheers. Thanks very much.
Oh wow, these smell very. They're good. I can see these getting very sickly very quickly.
What is peach?
Tastes like peach. I think you might be right.
Like artificial peach.
Right. Yeah, I mean, when I went to that onsen today with you, I was like, have I been to an onsen before, like in Taiwan? So I'm like, I don't think I've seen any of this before. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow more. These are quite good. So yeah, I mean, I've been to hot spring hotels in Taiwan. So the closest one to Taichung is in Busan, I think. And it's cool, but you don't get like a big communal hot spring. You get like a room that has a hot spring in it. So it's like private.
Right.
I think Taiwanese people, this is a big difference. Taiwanese people are very private. So you don't really see them drinking in public too often. They like their own little KTV room.
Right. Yeah.
Japanese people, you'll see them like in bars. You won't see Taiwanese people doing that. There's something stuck in my throat for years. That was a cough sneeze. That was gross. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Taiwan felt like a perfect balance between Southeast Asia, like Thailand, Vietnam, and fancy Asia, Japan and Korea.
I've said the same thing to you many times.
But I just don't see it. Like, I don't find.
I love that. Who said that? Petter? Yeah, I completely agree.
I don't know. I mean, I find Taiwan to be too expensive. Like, it's cheaper to live in Japan than it is to live in Taiwan. Which is like, that doesn't happen very often, because Japan is a much nicer place to be in as far as like comfort. Your weather isn't okay. Your weather's hot, I'll give you that. Tokyo was ridiculous.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe how hot Tokyo is.
It is disgusting.
but it's not crazy hot all the time like it is in Taiwan.
Mm.
And our rent and the cost of a house in Taiwan is absurd. And there isn't like, I think a lot of foreigners in Taiwan get bored because there's just nothing to do. Like, I think especially if you're young and you're traveling and you want to, I think it's foreigners really like when they go to like Tokyo or Osaka and they see all these bars and there's people they can meet and they're everywhere. Taiwan's a much sleepier place, I think. I think there's things to do in Taiwan if you don't drink. If you're a big drinker, you are not going to have very much fun in Taiwan, I think.
That is not my experience.
Okay. We did get you very drunk in Taiwan. It was fun.
Like days of drinking.
Yeah, but like, again, we took you to all the bars in the city. Like, that's it. If you came back, we would have nowhere else to take you. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I don't find Taiwan to be a very exciting place. But it is, for me, like, from my experience, I like it because it's a very stable place.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's much different visiting a country. I had 3 days packed full of eating, drinking, and fun.
Yeah, I think we really try to get you to experience as much of it as possible. And next time you come, I want to take you to more places, Yeah. How difficult is it to find things in Japan or Taiwan? Like in Wuxi, finding coffee in a coffee maker was difficult. So, really? Chinese people love coffee. But Chinese people drink like expensive coffee. It's the easiest countries in the world, probably, to find coffee. So I really like Family Mart or 7-Eleven coffees. And the good thing about Taiwan is they make them for you, and it's 45 NT. And I drink it every day. And there's coffee literally everywhere in Taiwan and everywhere in Japan. It's probably easier in Japan. I think the coffee, it's more annoying in Japan because you have to make the coffee yourself. But it's easier to get because you have so many vending machines and all of them have coffee in them.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
But we said this before as well. I don't know what it is, but if you get vending machine coffee, it doesn't feel like it's waking you up.
I agree.
Yeah.
I noticed that.
I feel like I'm buying a coffee flavored drink rather than.
Yes, I totally. Oops. Okay. Well, we can get into these.
Yeah.
So, I'm gonna say a word that's gonna get this demonetized or at least shut down.
Surely not. CBD.
Okay. This is legal in Japan.
Yeah, that's legal, yeah.
But it's illegal in Taiwan, I'm sure, because we don't have these. So WEED, I don't know if I can say that, is illegal in Japan.
Yeah.
But this isn't.
Yes.
So we bought some. I do not partake. Okay. Yes, I am from Canada. Yes, doing these things is super popular in Canada and has been recently become legal. But I just never, I don't know, growing up, my friends didn't do it. I just never got into it. I wasn't like against it. I wasn't like a militant anti, pot person.
Just wasn't in your sphere.
Yeah, I just never really. Yeah. And then so these things popped up, which are like vapes.
Yeah.
But they have CBD in them.
That's right.
You said they don't really do anything.
Yeah.
There's not enough in here to actually. It's basically just a vape.
Yes.
And it was incredibly cheap.
It was cheap. Yeah.
So yeah. It's a shame we can't all collab on a lottery scheme. I don't know what that's in reference to. Taiwan felt like a perfect. Oh, we read all that. I personally think that Japan is a nice place to travel, but Taiwan is more suitable to live. Why do you think that? Why do you think she would say something like that?
Again, my experience was because you and your friends made me feel incredibly welcome.
Oh, that's nice.
So there's that, but also, as an English speaker, not speaking the local language, Taiwan was way easier to navigate.
Yeah, that's true. Sorry, I should have given yours.
Thank you very much. Way easier to navigate. We did a whole video on it about how easy it was for me to find my way from the airport to get to Taichung.
All
completely, entirely in English.
That's right. Yeah, and I don't think neither of us are saying that Taiwanese people should speak English. No. Of course not. It's just cool that so many people can. I will say, okay, here's the thing. I will give Japan negative points for this.
Mm-hmm.
I've been in Japan for 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
2.5 weeks, and I haven't spoken to a single Japanese person.
Mm.
I've spoken to like your wife because she lives here.
Yep.
But like, I haven't spoken to any Japanese people. I haven't met any new Japanese friends.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have any new people I can like call and hang out with.
Yep.
I have the exact same amount of friends that I had when I got here.
Yeah, I would agree with you because I met loads of friends.
Yeah, that you guys talk all the time now.
Yeah, we do.
All
Yeah,
Taiwanese people.
yeah, and we send each other gifts and presents and stuff. Yeah, I would say that like Japanese people, you kind of have to, 9 times out of 10 you have to make the first move. I would say that it's not often that Japanese people will approach you. And there's many different reasons for that. Like they might think that they're bothering you, they don't want to bother you. Could just be that they just don't have the English and they'll assume that you don't speak Japanese.
Right. Yeah. No, I feel like I want to talk to someone in Japan. It'd be cool to have a Japanese friend. I guess I just haven't. I don't know. Maybe I'm a dick. Uncle Topher says CBD isn't psychoactive. I think CBD is legal in Taiwan. Is it? We don't sell it in Taiwan, or at least I haven't seen it. Like we don't have like shops, you know. Have you, Topher? I'm not sure. Topher is a born-again Christian and does not do. I'm joking.
Yeah.
CBD products from a New Jersey gas station will get you blazed. Go to Osaka for that. I just noticed that Topher has a Chinese name now. He's Meguo Susu. That's so funny. I wonder if that. I reckon that's gonna do him well. I should change mine to Janadakuko, but how the fuck did you do that? They smell great. Which side is it? This one.
A bit more with the arrow. Wow, that does taste like apple.
Do you press anything?
No, just suck. Steady.
It's not that much. So if CBD isn't psychoactive, what is it?
Whenever it's marketed here, it's just like it's going to relax you in some way.
There's probably nothing in these then.
It says 10%. Yeah, I mean, I've had one of these before, and it was no more than a vape.
Yeah, I reckon this is just a vape.
Yeah,
no nicotine.
Yeah, I think it's a selling tactic. There's also a drink in Japan called Chill. You can buy it from vending machines anywhere, and it's got a certain amount of CBD in it. But I think you'd have to drink about 100 to feel anything. CBD is a legal drug in Taiwan, but not approved for sale here. Helps with pain relief, like bad headaches, etc.
Wow, okay, I didn't know that. Helps with pain relief, like headaches, etc. Kidding. Oh, what was he kidding? Oh, Janata.
No way. So I'm just reading this guy's Jura 3 story. A friend tried to ship a THC vape.
Oh, that's a big mistake from Vancouver.
That's a big no-no for the F1 trip to Osaka.
He got caught,
locked up for 3 months, paid $15,000 for a lawyer, who made it back to Canada without a ban from Japan. Wow. Goodness me, he should make a video. 3 months in a Japanese prison?
Is he stupid? Why would he try to ship a THC vape to Japan?
Please tell your friend to make a video. I'd watch that.
I'm assuming he got arrested in Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's my grandma with Parkinson's? So I hope at least doctors can prescribe it in Taiwan for people who need it.
If you're going to read the comments, maybe read them louder.
Sorry, I'm
you're just mumbling to a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Come to Canada if you want to get high. Yeah, I don't really. I don't smoke weed, so I don't really care about it. Helps my grandma with Parkinson's. Yeah. Will you come back to Taiwan, or you want to move to Japan? I'll come back to Taiwan, of course. I live there. Would I move to Japan? I don't know. I seem to be really optimistic, enthusiastic about it, but a lot of foreigners that I meet here are so jaded. And yeah, they're like, I think it's because Japan gets so much praise that when people live here for long enough, they're kind of like, it's fine. You know, it doesn't deserve that much praise. They just kind of get a little frustrated with how good people think it is.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Like you can't say anything bad about Japan without anybody like jumping on your back and saying, oh, well, that's because you don't understand it properly, or because you're an asshole, or and it's almost like that you're not allowed to complain. You're not allowed to complain about your lived experience.
Right.
It's like it's your fault for not understanding this fantastic culture. And sometimes, and of course, no place is perfect. I think everyone can say that confidently.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Also remember that THC is what will get you turned before a marginal amount of CBD will affect you. Okay. Again, this is all new to me. I don't know what any of this is. Uncle Topher says CBD is used a lot for medical use, good for nervous system issues. Cool. Yes, he got arrested in Japan when he picked up his package. Yeah, you fool.
Wow.
That sucks. You can import CBD medicines to Taiwan for self-use if you get a prescription from a doctor. Yeah, I don't trust in you. I'm not being this guy's friend and shipping drugs to Taiwan.
I like this comment here. So give me number 0123456789. Japan is oversold. I completely agree. But if you temper your expectations, it's pleasant. Yes, I completely agree with that. Yes. Yeah. Great point.
Yeah, okay. Sure. Again, I don't live here, so I don't know. But yeah. So life, I always wanted to go to Japan. The work culture looks horrible though. I think it depends, right? If you're working for a Japanese company and they have like Japanese expectations of you, I think it's pretty terrible. From what I hear, I probably shouldn't use this question. It's probably better.
No.
But if you work at somewhere like you used to work, I think it sounds actually kind of a cushiony job, to be honest.
The foreign staff at that place and the Japanese staff at that place had extremely different experiences. The Japanese staff would be expected to work finishes when the work is done, not when your time is up.
Right.
So I'm sure there's examples of that in the West as well, but that would be every day, every single day. They'd be like, oh, I have to work overtime, or I have to do this, or I have to finish this report. And
Taiwan's somewhat similar in that regard.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the foreign staff, now, as bad as this might sound to some people, foreign staff didn't grow up with this kind of, I don't know, kind of hierarchy and this just obedience to people above you. I would say that in the West, respect is earned rather than given.
Yeah, you can work for a boss that you absolutely do not respect.
Yeah, not at all, right? Respect is earned in the West, and I think in some cases, in Japan, respect is kind of inherited with the position. So sometimes that leads to just really goofy, terrible decisions and terrible working environments. I personally could not wait to get my wife away from a Japanese company and never work again.
Right. That's where you met your wife.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So yeah,
at that job. Yeah. Yeah, Taiwan's somewhat similar in that regard. Yeah, for sure. Taiwanese people work so hard compared to foreigners. It's crazy. We Taiwanese miss you very much, says Anita. 谢谢，我也想念. Hey, it's the guy who got the good haircut.
Yeah, thanks very much. It was a good haircut, by the way.
Yeah, that guy was great.
I've not had a haircut like that since.
Really?
Yeah, since.
He did a cracking job.
He did a great job.
Yeah.
And he introduced me to the hair comb thing.
Yes, I remember you bought one, right?
I did. I use it every single time.
I'll have to tell him.
Yeah.
Japan sounds very different to mainland China. Lots of people come and try out their English. Yeah, Japan is. We can't even compare that. They're so different. I can't even compare that. 42. Japanese people are so much cooler when they're not in Japan.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you have to remember, people in Japan, a very small number hold passports. Really, really small number. And most Japanese people I talk to have no ambition to ever go abroad. They think it's dangerous, and they think that Japan has enough for them here. So the Japanese people that you do see abroad, they're probably more adventurous types anyway.
Yeah, they're not very. Yeah, they don't have that. Yeah. Okay, next Japanese snack. What is this called? We have these in Taiwan.
Kinoko no yama.
Okay, so they're like mushroom cookies covered in chocolate.
That's correct. Yeah. So yeah, it's like
Really?
it's like Mushroom Mountain.
Ah, okay. They open in a fun way. I will say, this is a good chat we got going on. I like this. Like normally, I get super chats in the first hour, but not this many people chatting. But I like the fact that so many people are chatting. It's nice.
No, it's nice.
I
There's
think
some
it's
great
good, yeah.
comments.
Well, because I normally film a live stream on my phone.
Yeah.
And I can't pay attention to the comments because the phone screen is small.
Right.
So I just ramble. And so when someone wants my attention, they send a super chat, so I read it. But this is cool because we're on a desktop computer right now, so like we can pay so much closer attention to the chat. Is there any action after marriage in Japan? Is that why people get jaded?
Well, depends how good you perform.
Ah, clever. Okay, these look kind of good. Looks just like the package. Check that out. Uncle Topher says there's a lot of weeaboos in Japan. Amazing country, though. I would live there again. Yeah, when I was walking around Tokyo, I couldn't believe what some of the white people were doing and wearing and saying. Oh, God.
These are fantastically Moorish. They're very nice.
Fantastically what?
Moorish.
Moorish.
You want to eat more of them?
You can make that word up. Oh.
Make
Moorish. Yeah. These are great. Foreigners, and I've heard Gen Z also doesn't play by those boomer rules as much anymore.
Yeah, totally true. Totally true. Lots of younger Japanese members of staff. So it used to be in Japan that if you get a job in a company, you'll be there for the rest of your life. But that's changed. Even in my time, like I don't feel like I've been here a long time, but in the last 12 years, I've seen a huge shift in the way that people treat their jobs. People will quit after an argument. People will quit their job if they're like being treated badly and move on and go to a different job. When I first came here, it really seemed like people would just put up with everything just to stay in the same company because that's what you did.
Right. Yeah. These taste good. They're like a strawberry chocolate with a nice crunchy. They are Moorish.
They are Moorish.
I can't stop eating these goddamn things.
Yeah.
42 says, do something cool, bro. Go find the Yakuza and interview them.
Yakuza.
Have you ever seen an interview with any Yakuza member?
Yakuza are dying out, right? The police slowly but surely stopped working with them and they crushed them down to almost nothing. What is really like a problem, not really a problem, but like the gangs in Japan now are more like hangure, which are just kind of unorganized groups of people, groups of ruffians, if you will. And they will be the people that they for a while you had to like lock up your motorbike like really well in Tokyo because people will come along with a truck and just pick it up.
They do that in China too.
Yeah, just pick it up, take it away, and they'd sell it.
Yeah, I wish I could say the same about the Taiwanese mafia. Good Lord. They're not being crushed at all.
No.
They run everything. Did you want more?
Is that not entirely Thai jump?
It's mostly Thai jump, but not entirely. Do you want more of your fizzy drink?
No, I'm all right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Yeah, those cookie things are amazing. Haven't seen you in my feed in at least a year. I wonder if the algorithm is extra today. And someone else says, happy to see Topher here. We're always happy to see Topher anywhere.
So I believe that Topher's lived in Japan and Taiwan.
He did live in Japan, yes. You guys in Koo's video are so cool. Thank you. I don't think I was cool. I think I look like a word I can't say. Yeah. What do you reckon we just do one more?
Yeah, sure.
You look like you're ready for bed.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah, sorry. Yeah,
He has a child.
Yeah, kids will keep you busy.
Yeah. What about like how many? Do you have like lots of Japanese friends? Because like I've seen you over the last like 4 days, however long I've been here, and you have a lot of like Japanese people that you know, right? Like you know the mechanic. Like it's a small town kind of feel. You know the mechanic. You know the. Who else did we meet? The mechanic. Like there's people that you know.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. again, another plus of living in a small town rather than Tokyo or a big city is that you're going to know the community around you. And do I have any Japanese friends? Yes, I do. Yeah, I have some Japanese friends, and I hate to kind of say it this way because like sometimes foreigners in Japan, they'll be like, yeah, I've got Japanese friends that can't speak any English, and they'll use that as a boast. They'll be like,
right.
They'll be like, I've
So
got
cool.
authentic Japanese friends.
Right, real ones.
Yeah, not the ones that speak English. Ugh.
Gross.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they only speak Japanese because I can speak Japanese. Right. So I don't like saying that, but yeah, I've got a good group of friends that live in this town and the next town, where we watch the fireworks.
Right. I haven't seen any of these friends, so I think he's lying. I think he has no friends. But yeah, like you met all my friends in Taiwan, and they all speak English.
Yeah. They So yeah, I do have Japanese friends. I will say that took absolutely years. Years and years and years of trying to kind of work out like Japanese culture, Japanese people, Japanese language. It took way longer than I thought it was going to take.
See, I keep hearing you just have to get them drunk. That's part of it.
Part of it. God.
Right.
I would like to know if this is the same Taiwan. So you go out on a work party?
No.
Okay. Cool. And that's where it ends.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
Yep.
Oh, Life in Taiwan. Alan and Cobain saying hi. Alan, I miss you, buddy. Are we doing a pledge? To Alan. Yeah, I miss you, buddy. And I hope Cobain's taking good care of you. Yeah. Can't wait to get back. So yeah, what were you saying? Sorry. Just won this in poker. 170 NT. Alan, first super chat. Thank you. What am I going to spend 170 NT on? That's a lot of money. That's like
buy a house here.
That's true in Fukushima. Yeah. Just won this in poker. Nice. I'm gonna like his thing. I forgot I can do that. Where's your mouse goes to sleep? Okay. Look at that. Wonderful. James, how are you in Japan? Will you come back to Taiwan again?
Yes, I would love to come back to Taiwan again. I've been meaning to come back to Taiwan for ages. I keep kind of setting up times when I think I'll be able to make it, but yeah, children keep me busy. Although
it's hard to travel.
My local airport now flies directly to Taiwan.
There you go.
Fukushima Airport flies to Taiwan.
Really quickly, we're going to try a super big chocolate wafer thing.
Yep.
And it is super big, but you were explaining that it's actually not that big on the inside.
Yeah, no. You'll be able to eat that really quickly. Well, right? It's full of nothing.
I don't even know how to explain what's in the inside of that.
Yeah.
And it weighs nothing. Like, this is also air.
Yes.
I think Japanese people just like to eat air.
Yeah.
I don't think Japanese people are real. I haven't seen any of them.
They're just air.
They're just not there. They're gone.
They're not.
No.
They're all styrofoam in the middle.
I don't know if I like that.
No? I'm quite keen on it.
It's okay.
Yeah.
The middle has like a weird cardboard taste. When you're shaking your head in agreement, British people.
Cardboard.
I love cardboard. Oh, Peter Vofical. 20 Czech crowns? Is that what that is? What is
I do not, mate.
You're European. Alan Super Chad. Super Chad. Yeah. Oh, I'm so happy that Alan won in poker, though. It's always a good time when Alan wins poker. He plays a lot of poker. Do you ever play?
I do not. Do you play?
I play with Alan.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes. But no, I don't. I'm too scared to go and play with him because he goes to a club. I went to play with Alan one time. And he was like, Alan's very enthusiastic and he encourages me all the time, which I go, Czech crowns, good guess. Nice. And he's like, don't worry, man. Like, it's fine. It's like, it's an amateur thing. I was playing like okay for a bit, and then I lost and like all my chips. And the person across the table just went, bye-bye, bye-bye. I was like, wow,
Wow.
fuck you, man.
What a bitch move. Like,
No.
yeah, like, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Don't let the door hit you on the way
Piss
out.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. All your chips are gone. See you later.
Yeah, I was like, Alan, poker sucks, man.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do it.
You
And
guys
they're
are
all,
mean.
yeah, they're all like, yeah. It was terrible. So that was my first poker experience. But the thing about Alan that's cool is like that's his hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And like he's with his friend Cobain right now. Cobain's hilarious, by the way. I don't know that you met him the last time you were down. He's a Taiwanese dude. He's super funny.
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's his hobby. So like Alan will go and like meet Taiwanese people. So like Cobain is his Taiwanese friend.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cobain is our only male Taiwanese friend, which is weird.
Mm.
Seems like all of our friends are female somehow.
Does he speak English? Did I meet
He
him
does.
in Vendors? I might have not been with you actually at that time.
Maybe you met him.
Does you know Andre?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think maybe.
Yeah, but that could have been Michael.
It could have been anyone really.
Yeah. But anyway, so Alan can meet like all these local Taiwanese people to be his friend. I don't have any hobbies that like involve other people. And I could, I suppose, but I'm not as social as Alan is. That's my excuse anyway. I want to find a group of people in Taiwan to ride my motorcycle with. I think that would be a great way to. But then it's like you're riding a motorcycle, you don't talk to them.
It's true. It's true.
But I don't know anybody who like in Taiwan that wants to ride with me, like Taiwanese people and stuff. But the really cool thing about Japan is that your motorcycles are so much cheaper than Taiwan. So much cheaper. I cannot believe it. I play yoga classes, piss off. Try strip poker, yeah, with Alan. No thanks. I paid 300,000 NT for my. Hey, Cobain! That's the guy I think you met. Hey, where is Kiwi? Let's celebrate their first super chat on a live stream. So Cobain's first super chat. I'm gonna go ahead and guess that Alan helped you out with that one.
Cobain, did we meet? Can you let me know? I think maybe I met you in Vendors.
I'm gonna like his thing. Where's Kiwi? Kiwi's in Yokohama at a bar somewhere. He messaged me, but I haven't replied yet because I'm doing this live stream. But I'm gonna go see him next week whenever I'm done here. Cobain's first ever super chat. Woo woo! Oh! I've been teaching his daughter all these like British, like football
like
fan
yobby.
chants.
Yeah, like you're turning my little girl into like a lager loud.
Wanker, wanker. I did never say that in front of her. But yeah, first ever super chat. Cheers, Cobain. I appreciate that. Yeah, Kiwi's in Yokohama. I'm gonna see him maybe next week if I can get him out of a bar. But yeah, my motorcycle was $300,000 new. It's 180,000 NT here. That's insane. It's almost half as much. Like I want to move to Japan. I mean, I probably won't ever, but if I did, like just riding and buying cars and driving them is so much cheaper, and I love driving cars.
Yeah.
And parking does seem like a pain in the ass here. I guess it depends on where you are. Like
yes.
Tokyo's a pain in the ass, but we seem fine here.
Tokyo is like, unless you've got a good amount of money. So even I lived on the outskirts of Tokyo. I lived in Machida, which is like a lot of people in Tokyo will be like, is that really even Tokyo? And I think I would have to pay for my parking space. It was like 20,000 yen a month.
Okay.
Just for the parking space.
Or for what?
Yeah. Just for the parking space. You know, on top of my rent, on top of everything else, just for the parking space.
It's about what it is in Taichung, which let me tell you, isn't fucking Tokyo.
And that was on the outskirts of Tokyo, and I've got friends that live closer to the center, and it's 30, 40, 50, you know. And we're talking about like that in Fukushima. That's like rent for a place.
I mean, you were telling me that Fukushima is so cheap. Why would you rent here?
Like why? Oh, rent in Fukushima.
You can just buy it.
You can just buy it. Yeah. Exactly. So interest rates here are so low that mortgages are still the way to go. You could be paying your rent to buy someone else a property, or you could be buying yourself a property.
Right. Cobain, fuck my first super chat. was not for girls. Fix my first super chat was not for girls. What? What? Fuck, my first super chat was not for girls. I don't know what that means, Cobain, but I really appreciate the super chat. Yeah. What were we just talking about? Parking. Yeah, I mean, someone just asked me, did you find the hotels in Japan to be quite expensive due to all the tourism?
Good question.
No. Maybe they're more expensive than they were before, but the hotels in Japan are the same as they are in Taiwan, if not cheaper. And that doesn't make any sense to me because Japan gets way more tourists than Taiwan does.
Right.
So no, it was the same. Like so far, I've spent the same. I've spent more money here because I'm buying gifts for people and like, I don't know, paying for dinners and stuff. But so far, it's the same. Pasamio need to drop for a meeting. Was good stream to listen to on the way to work. Oh, Pasio, thank you so much. Appreciate you stopping by. Appreciate you for the super chat. Been a long time supporter. Gonna give you a heart. Thanks, man.
I would say, just from my experience of hotels in Japan, they've definitely gone up with the tourist boom. And one thing that used to be really cheap and a really good alternative to getting a hotel is sometimes when you're really, really drunk, you can stumble into a capsule hotel.
Right.
It's just a bed, just a little space in a bed. And that used to be 3,000-4,000 yen. And that was like perfect. Like cheap. They had showers, sometimes an onsen. Great. Now, because it's become trendy to do, like everyone wants to stay in a capsule hotel in Japan.
That's cool.
Yeah. In many cases, a capsule will be more expensive than a hotel room.
I did notice that the capsule hotels are stupidly expensive.
It's so silly.
You know what a lot of Taiwanese people commented on my last video was that a lot of Taiwanese people love going to Japan because it's easier and cheaper than coming to Japan than it is to go to Kenting.
Wow.
Yeah. Like Taiwan is way too expensive for what it is. I like Taiwan, but it's too expensive for what it is. Yeah. Coco, what's up, big homie? I've been watching you for a couple of years now. Hope you continue to have good times. Cheers, Coco. Appreciate that. That's a fun name. Yeah. We're going to continue to have good times. Dennis says, so much traffic to Kenting. Yeah, there's one road that goes there. It's pretty annoying. Kenting's fun for like the first couple of times. And then it's just, I guess it all kind of depends on who you're with too. But yeah, I don't know. According to Numbeo, you would need around 76,000 NT or 345,000 yen in Tokyo to maintain the same standard of life that you would have with 60,000 NT in Taipei. Okay.
I'm too dumb to know what that.
So basically, you would need 76,000 NT in Tokyo to have the same standard of life in Taipei if you had 60,000 NT.
Oh, okay.
Now it's not making sense to me.
So you would have to pay 16,000 NT more to do the exact same things in Tokyo that you would do in Taipei?
I don't know. No, because that's NT. It'd be 15,000 more. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure living in Tokyo maybe is more expensive. I'm not sure.
Definitely. Well, I don't. Yeah, sorry. In comparison, yeah, but Tokyo.
Yeah, I mean Taipei rent is stupid. Uncle Topher says hotels are overpriced in Taiwan. That's absolutely true. I remember before COVID, we used to be able to get this nice, like the Delta Hotel somewhere in Kaohsiung for like 800 NT a night. And now it's like you can't get anything for under like $1,200. It's insane. Hotels are often a little bit old too. Yes, that's true.
That's true in Japan as well. Then I'd say that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, some of the big hotels that were built in the 90s and they've just not been touched since, really. Yeah, that can happen.
It means that Tokyo is 20% more expensive.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I know because like Andre lives in Yokohama, which like isn't Tokyo, but he pays the same amount of rent as I do. It's crazy.
That is That is crazy.
Mm.
When you consider, like, you know, Kanagawa, Yokohama is right next to Tokyo, and it's quite bougie. Like, you know, people, it's like a boast to say, like, oh, I live in Yokohama.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. People can't wait to tell you they live in Yokohama. Yeah.
Didn't seem that nice.
No? Really?
Because Andre lives above a meat packing factory.
Ah, the meat packers.
Woofda.
Woofda.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, hotels are very old in Taiwan, though. Like the 85 building in Kaohsiung, I would ask, I'd like to ask Topher if Topher's been in there yet. So that was only built in, like, I don't know, 97, 96, something like that. Not that long ago.
Yeah.
The inside is falling apart. Like, wallpaper peeling off the walls. Like, it just looks... You almost can't believe that it's only built in 98.
Right.
Like, if it was built in the 70s, I'd totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing, here's a similarity between Taiwan and Japan, is that your house is, like, what, 37 years old?
36 years old, yeah.
36 years old. In Taiwan, a 36-year-old building is old and would look like a bomb went off in it. It would look like shit.
Right.
And in Japan, you were saying, while they don't look like shit, mostly, they also consider that to be an old house.
Yeah. Yeah. My house is worthless. Like, the house itself is worthless. Like, if I was to ever sell this land, it would be the land they're paying for. They wouldn't give me a penny for the house.
Right. That's so crazy, because where we're from, a 36-year-old house is like...
It's nothing.
It's a
brand
new
new
house.
Yeah, it's brand new.
Got a lot of life left on that thing.
Yeah, considering the house I grew up in was over 100 years old.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Did you grow up in a castle? Do you have a title?
I grew up in a workers terrace house.
A council house?
No, not a council house.
Council houses.
Yeah,
Are those brick things? Did you have a brick fence?
Did I have a brick fence? No, I didn't have a brick fence. No.
But if the house was brick.
The house is brick, yeah. Most houses are brick in the
Was
UK.
it sad?
Was it sad?
I just feel like it's sad.
Did people eat well?
Yeah, like, I feel like, was it cloudy all the time? There are 1,000-year-old houses in the UK, and that's true.
Yeah.
85 was the first place I stayed. It's too big to maintain, so it's falling apart. Yeah, I was just so shocked, because it is a cool looking building. Like, it's a landmark of Kaohsiung. You know, like when you look at a skyline of Kaohsiung, the 85 building is like there, and all of them, and it looks awful on the inside. Right. Absolutely awful. There's also a club called, like, Lamp across from there. So shit. They wouldn't let me in because I was wearing pants, unless I paid, like, I don't know a lot of money to get in.
You were wearing pants?
Yeah.
And they wouldn't let you in?
No, I wasn't wearing pants.
I see.
So stupid. I didn't pay.
Right.
My friends went in, and I stayed outside and waited for them. That's how much of a loser I am.
Is that why you thought the club was shit?
I did go in a couple of months later with some other friends, and it was shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least the view from 85 is nicer than 101. I mean, I suppose that's true, because the view from 101 is just like city all around. Yeah. I do find that, like, the longer I spend away from Taiwan, the more I can appreciate it. The more I, like, kind of can't wait to get back. You know, I like miss my motorcycle, and I miss my life. I miss the convenience.
Yeah, sure.
But then I also see, like, Japan, where it's like, geez, it's so nice. Like, the sky is blue, and the ground is green, and you bought a car for some blueberries, and your house is like wood, and the inside is comfortable. And you had, like, this nice, like, your Japanese wife is folding laundry. And
folding your laundry?
Yeah, well, she didn't have to do that. Like, outside, and, like, it's just, like, this picturesque Japanese countryside life, you know? It's so cool. And, like, again, like, as your friend, it just, it's so good to see that, you know? Like, you're living, like, a proper, like, a good life.
Yeah,
you
thanks,
know?
man. Thanks very much.
No, it makes me happy. But you just don't get those comforts in Taiwan. It's kind of rougher. Yeah, at least I think the dream would be to make
USD.
USD but live in Japan or Taiwan. Oh,
Yeah.
geez, yeah. And some people do. Like, there's a
Yeah.
lot of wind farm engineers that are getting paid. Maybe not with USD, but they're getting
Yeah.
paid from their own countries
Yeah.
and then work in Taiwan, and like they're just minted. You know,
Ah.
their money goes so far.
I mean, I get paid in USD, but not a US salary. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like I've really enjoyed the so many people might know that the Japanese yen has plummeted.
But it's back up now, isn't
It's
it?
back up now a bit, yeah. But a couple of months ago, it was really on the floor, and it was great. I was getting loads of extra money for doing nothing else. But yeah, if I was to earn a US salary here in Japan, I would be living extremely well.
Same in Taiwan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because things are cheaper than in the US. But yeah, I mean, Taiwan's great. The only complaints I have are the weather's awful. It's unrelenting. It's so hot, it's ridiculous. The rent is too expensive these days. Taipei isn't even worth complaining about. It's so stupid. And cars and motorcycles are too expensive, and hotels are too expensive.
Right.
You know, people say that Taiwan's a cheap place, and it is in regard to things like to food, like most of your living expenses. But it is really expensive for what you get for that quality of life. But I still like it. What's the average salary in Japan? Good question.
That's a good question. To be honest, I wouldn't want to say without Googling it.
What's the average salary for an English teacher? Say a starting salary at like a regular school.
A salary for an English teacher. Well, that again in my time has just gone down and down and down and down and down.
Really?
It's just gone down and down and down. And I think that's purely because more people are traveling to Japan and more people want to experience Japan, and they're not like looking to make a career here. They want to make some money while they're here. So for me, when I came here, it was like, don't take anything less than like 260 or 270.
Okay.
Right. As a starting job. But you see jobs advertised now 210, 220, 230.
And you couldn't live in Tokyo on that. Like, impossible.
You'd have to live in a share house, or you'd have to live in like sort of alternative accommodation to make that work. But some people do. Some people do.
Right.
Do you have share houses in Taiwan?
In Taipei, lots of people. If you look at the Taipei housing and rental page on Facebook, almost all of the single, like if you're just one person, they're all a bedroom within an apartment wherever the people are living.
Right.
For some reason, Taipei does not have very many apartments for just one person to live in.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. But yeah, most of my Taiwan visit was raining and one morning very shaky. That sucks. Vietnam is cheap and people are cool, but when it rains for 2 months, it can kind of suck. Yeah, I can imagine. Average Japan salary is about 40,000, probably US a year. I'm guessing what they're saying. That's pretty good, damn good salary for your average.
For your average, I mean, it's difficult to think about averages, right? Like, because there are some extremely high earners in Japan, so they're bumping up that average. So let's have like 40,000.
Share houses are not that bad. Yeah, I'm sure they're not that bad, but like, I want my own place. I'm a 33-year-old grown-ass man.
$40,000 is 5.7 million yen.
A year though.
Sorry,
that would be a year.
Yeah, a year. Yeah, of course. Yeah, a year. Not many unskilled teachers are earning that.
Yeah. People can earn that?
People can.
That's a good salary.
Yeah.
You couldn't earn that in Taiwan. I never was.
I mean, I've got some like friends that have got masters and they're teaching at universities, and they're earning like that and a bit more.
Oh, that's kind of garbage. Okay.
But your regular sort of teaching job, no, you wouldn't get that.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, in my old job, I was getting about 4.5 million. So what's that? So about 31,000 US dollars.
Okay, yeah. Taiwan is not really cheap to live, and the salary level is like 50 years ago. Yeah, that's one big thing that Taiwanese complain about is that their salaries have not increased like at all in like 50 years.
Same.
But the cost of living has gone up, right? Like normally when you pay people more, then the cost of living goes up. But in Taiwan, somehow it's opposite. Like people's salaries are the same, cost of living goes up, and it really annoys people. I thought the average salary in the U.S. is 70K, or someone else says 78K is average in the U.S. I think that's a lot of money.
That's
really,
a
that's the
lot of money.
average.
I mean,
That's the average.
again, there's some like extremely high earners in the
Maybe
US,
that's
right?
household income,
Okay.
like dual earners.
Right.
'Cause
Maybe.
that's a shit ton of money
It's just, yeah, but I mean,
for the average.
for the average.
Have you seen the prices increasing drastically since when you guys first arrived in Taiwan/Japan? When I went to Japan last year, I feel like the price of restaurants was the same 10 years previously.
You're absolutely right. It's so interest rates have been sort of negative interest rates was the policy for a very long time, and that meant the prices just didn't really change. And what Japan's having trouble with now is with cost of living going up, is people are very, very used to paying a certain price for a certain thing. And when they go to the supermarket and they say, I don't know, like, a packet of these, for example, for the last God knows how many years, they've been, let's say 200 yen, well, they've had to tack on an extra 30 yen. And people are not happy about that. Like, they have an idea of how much things should cost. That's very cemented in their view.
Right. I've noticed that the cost of living has gone up in Taiwan as far as like rent is concerned. And all the other things you mentioned, like hotels. I think food has gotten a little bit more expensive, but nothing really noticeable. So it's definitely gone up for sure, but not. I will say, not like it has in places like Canada. Not even close. Canada is ridiculous how much it's gone up. So yes, it has gone up, but not as much as like Canada.
I like this color. I was trying to think of that word earlier, but Alexander said look for the median, not the average.
Why? What's the difference?
Well, because the average can be inflated by 1% of the higher earners, right? That doesn't mean that most people earn the average.
Okay.
That's right. So if you've got people like Elon Musk earning hundreds of millions,
he's going to bring up the average by quite a lot. Right. Okay.
Exactly. So now the median is what most people are earning.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. The average rent in the U.S. is insane. That's from what I hear. That's true, but I also think it depends on where you are in the U.S. In Canada, it's crazy. Don't come back to Canada, Prozzy. The real estate here doesn't even make sense. Average rent is $1,800 a month in the U.S. That's a lot. It's worse in Canada, I can promise you that. Juror 3 is absolutely right. Buying a house in Canada is damn near impossible for most people now, unless you have a lot of money. Some people don't complain. Some people are like, oh, I'm fine on my, $120,000 a year tech job. It's like, well, good for you.
Yeah.
I make $35,000 a year teaching at kindergarten, so yeah. But yeah. How are you feeling? You okay?
I'm fine.
You sure?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't want to keep you up longer. It's already 1:15 in the morning.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It's a good chat going on here. I really like it.
Okay.
At this rate, I'll now have my own house. Yeah, that's the story for I think a lot of people in the UK as well.
Really? I remember I saw we walked by. I don't know if you want to, just in case, for emergencies. We walked by a real estate place and they had UK housing listed for sale. And me and my Chinese friend stopped by and we're like, God damn, these places are cheap. But granted, that was in the Whirl.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, house prices are typically cheaper in the north, but not everywhere in the north. But some places. Again, you can find something pretty run down, but in and around where I want to live in the UK, I'm going to be looking at £250,000, easy, 250,000.
Yeah, in Canada you can't find a house for, at least in Ottawa where I'm from, under $600,000, I think. It's just insane. Blair is here. I've never met Blair in person, but I've known her for years. It's crazy, and she'll never own a home, so that's a shame.
So you said the average home is 600,000.
I think that's the minimum you would have to pay to get like a
Wow.
decent house.
Yeah, 337,000.
Yeah, but again, Ottawa's the capital city, right? So you could
Right.
probably go to like if you wanted to live in Canada really bad, sure, go to Saskatchewan and buy a house there. You can live on a field if you want.
Yeah.
You know, it'll be like a 2-day drive from any major city. I'll swing by Taiwan sometime. You should. We can finally meet. It's been so many years.
I recommend it there. It's great. People are wonderful. You don't have to speak Chinese. It's great. Food's good too.
She does. I think she does speak Chinese, though. She lived in China for a long time.
Oh.
It's more than that now, Prazi. I think it's $750,000 minimum in Ottawa for a detached house.
Wow.
That's a ton. Yeah. And Ottawa's not even the worst one. Like Vancouver, I mean, Vancouver's different because Vancouver's been expensive for like its entire history. Like I don't remember a time in my life where Vancouver wasn't seen as like the obscenely expensive city.
Right.
And that's the same with Toronto too. But now you have like weird cities like Halifax getting expensive, or Calgary, or Edmonton, and you're like, why the hell are those cities expensive? They suck. Just kidding. Halifax is actually not that bad. That is insane. House in my area goes for $300K. So yeah. So Jim Flag, where? Well, I guess you probably don't want to tell us where he lives, but $300K. Geez, I would kill for a house for $300K. But also remember, if Jim is in America, Virginia, U.S., yeah, so that's 300,000 American, which is going to be like 350,000 Canadian or something. But still, yeah. And Virginia, I don't know much about Virginia. I knew a bunch of people from Virginia. I know it's not a terrible place to live. My two-bedroom Vancouver, my two-bedroom in Vancouver, 780 square feet, is $850,000 for a two-bedroom fucking apartment.
Goodness me.
For an apartment. Like, you don't even own a home.
Yeah.
That is insane. It's around 450,000 average for a house around where I am. And that's for a ranch style couple of bedrooms. Okay. For comparison, don't forget your tax rate. Taiwan is pretty low. Okay, yeah, Taiwanese taxes is pretty sick. Like, you get a lot of it back after a certain amount of time. But no, because again, that's why my motorcycle is 2 times, and I don't mean that figuratively, literally 2 times more expensive than it would be to buy the same bike in Japan, is because of taxes, the import taxes. But I think you're talking about purchasing taxes, which is pretty cheap. And in Vancouver, you can't get any real estate really for less than $1 million. Which I believe you, but then that other person said that they have something for 850,000, or maybe that's what they bought it for, and now it's over $1 million.
I hope they didn't buy it for that. I hope they're making loads of money. And
well, that's the problem, right? So in Vancouver, everyone, all the houses are so expensive. They want to keep making money. Well, that means the price has to keep going up.
Yeah, that's what.
And now they're getting more expensive, and now more and more people are getting priced out of the market.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, this is the big reason why people aren't having kids anymore. It isn't not even Vancouver really. I can't read that because a stupid heart is in the way. Oh, I bet you that says Surrey. In Surrey, houses cost $1.2 to $1.5 million. We do. That is ridiculous. Not even in Vancouver, and you're paying $1.5 million for a house. Jesus Christ.
That's wild, isn't it? Like, what would you say to your kids? Like, you're just never going to own a home.
So that's why people aren't having a house. It's not even that things are so expensive these days, which they are, and it is absolutely a valid point. I think it's that people don't have a good outlook on the future for their kids. You know?
Right.
Like, and again, this is why I say, like, when I look at your life and how lucky you are to kind of have this house that's paid for. Yeah. You have this like great Japanese countryside life, which is so cool because there's so many people back home where it's like, okay, well, I make $50,000 a year, but I need $1.5 million to buy a house. It's like that you can't do that. That's literally impossible.
Yes.
You know.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to say that. Like, look at this man taking advantage of this land of milk and honey.
Yeah.
That's not what I meant. But I think that people aren't having kids just because the negative outlook on the future. The problem is that the inflation is 2 to 3%, which is normal. So everyone sees it as fine economically. But looking at the inflation since 2009, pre-COVID, it's 23%. That's crazy.
That's so wild.
You can thank Obama for that. I have no idea whose fault that is. That is a joke. Americans are so political. As soon as I say like Obama, Trump, they just explode. I have no idea why your inflation rate's that high, but I believe you because Blair's a smart cookie. I'm sure she knows what she's talking about. When doctors and lawyers can't afford real estate, you have an issue.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, for sure. And that's a big problem in Canada too, is that all of our doctors and nurses are going to the States because they just get paid anything in Canada.
Right.
The biggest correlation for low birth rates is urbanization and prosperity. Okay. Great. Does that mean that less urbanized places people have more babies?
Yeah, that's. I mean, please clarify. But yeah, that's what I got from that.
Lawrence Bilton, he's a long-time follower, but he's also, why the hell can't I tell what they're called? Special member. What a lovely and fun conversation to waltz into. Yeah, just tons of negativity. Welcome to my channel.
Yeah.
What's the situation like in the UK? Are people not having kids as often as they used to, or is it kind of okay?
To speak from personal experience, all of my friends have kids. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of mine don't.
Really? But I think overall, I believe that there is fewer and fewer births.
Yeah, I think it's the same in Canada, and so what they're doing is like the immigration policy is just like completely unchecked. Like they just uncorked a bottle of immigration and now it's spewing all over Canada. And I'm not anti-immigration, okay? I'm an immigrant. But I think that you need to have the infrastructure in place before you let in all the immigrants, because we don't have enough houses and we don't have enough people working in trades to build the houses, and to build a house in Canada is fucking annoying. It is so annoying and so expensive. And so I remember someone rebutted and said, ha ha ha, Prazi, you just said not enough people working in trades is an issue and immigration won't fix it. It won't, because Canada doesn't need any more Uber drivers and taxi drivers and Uber Eats delivery people. That's not helping. And so now people can't afford a home. And it's insane. Blair says it's also the first time where 30-year-olds are doing worse than their parents were at 30. Yeah. The older generations are holding on to all the wealth and then complaining that younglings don't work. Yeah, it's all old people's fault.
Yeah.
Screw you, Dad.
I mean, if I was in their position, I perhaps would do the same thing. You know, if you bought a house for a few pennies and a piece of pie, and now it's worth like $1 million, well, yeah, you'd be sitting pretty too.
Yeah, that's true. Yes, we need immigration to fix the labor shortages. This is what happened in the 1900s, led to a boom in the US. Fine. But the immigrants that are coming in aren't working in the places where we need labor, I think is what you don't understand here. And it's probably not going to lead to a boom, because what a lot of immigrants are doing is they're coming, they're realizing it's horrible in Canada, and then they leave. Lawrence Bilton says UK needs health workers and fruit pickers mostly. Fruit pickers? I don't know. I didn't know you grew fruit other than apples and raspberries.
Yeah, I didn't know that strawberries were being left in the fields. But I'm not up on the political matters of the UK. It's far too depressing.
Same in Canada. As someone from the UK, how do you
How do you
feel it is? I'm assuming it says that. Again, this is stupid hard. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
How do you feel it is after Brexit?
Well, I think the people that voted for Brexit were largely fueled by the idea that money was being misspent and that they would see a decrease in illegal immigration. And
do you think they were lied to?
Yeah, definitely, 100%. I think people were lied to, and I think that there's a nasty, horrible thing that happens in all political circles, but like people want what's best for what's around them, and they were sold a lie and they believed the lie and they voted for that lie. I don't think the people that voted for Brexit are to blame. I think the people that lied to what they were going to do after Brexit are to blame. Instead of blaming the voters, they should be blaming the people in power that promised things that never came to fruition.
Do you think that UK has, I've heard this a lot from people, that has changed a lot, where like back in the day, it was common for people to like go to the pub, and now like pubs are like dying.
Yeah.
Like there's just nothing to do in the UK now.
Yep. So I used to work in the pub trade, in brewery trade. I worked for a brewery for 7 years. And pubs would die all the time, little village pubs. And so they used to be the social centres of villages and towns and whatnot. But as taxes increase and prices increase, people didn't have that extra money to go out and say, I'm just going to go pop down the pub and have 2 or 3 pints or whatever. They don't have that extra disposable income. When they're worrying about, should I wash my clothes or put my heating on, there's no room for a couple of pints. So the pub is the first thing out the door.
Right. Yeah. Yay, change of topic. If not Japan or Taiwan, what other country would you live in?
It's a question. That's a good question. What other country?
I might give Korea a shot. I've been there a few times. I really liked it.
I'd go to Taiwan. I know that sounds like boring.
Well, I would go to Japan, but you said other than.
Yeah. Taiwan would be great. Where else would I go? Georgia.
Fucking bread.
Bread.
It's all they
bread
eat is Georgia.
And onions.
Yeah.
And cabbage.
Yeah.
They've got some very lax.
You want to go live in Tbilisi?
Yeah. They've got some very lax visa policies.
Okay, cool. Immigration is not the issue. The issue is greedy corporations that don't pay a livable wage for jobs that Canadians won't do because of low wages. So the immigrants will? Because they won't. Because if they do, they won't be able to afford to live there. So I think immigration is kind of the issue here. And I don't mean immigration completely. I mean unchecked, insane amounts of immigration that Canada is doing. I think 42, if you look into the situation in Canada, because you're living in Virginia, and America has a very different issue to what Canada has. If you look at the immigration issue in Canada, it's insane. Lawrence Bilton, my previous comment is because, where'd he go? Because those jobs have dedicated visas for them. Oh, there's like dedicated healthcare visas and yeah. Speaking of breweries, how's the craft beer scene in Taiwan and Japan? So it's growing in Taiwan, but I wouldn't say it's huge. There's a few cool like breweries you can go to. Yeah, it's growing, but it's not as big as the West, obviously, because Taiwanese people don't drink that much beer, but it's growing. What about in Japan?
Booming. Absolutely booming. Loads of little breweries popping up. They've got if anybody comes to Japan, we've got a really good beer festival called the Keiyaki Beer Festival, and it's held in Saitama Super Arena. It's giant. I've never seen such a big beer festival.
Wow. I bet you, because they're not sponsoring me, it's terrible. But when they do, I'll tell you.
Really great beer festival. Loads of great beers.
Horrible beers.
Really nice,
garbage. Until they sponsor me.
Very good festival. Yeah, I would highly recommend anybody go to that. I've even made a beer in Japan actually, by the way. If anybody wants to try it, buy it. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, start a whole business.
Yeah.
Is it true that it is true that some companies do not want to cut profits to pay employees, but there are a lot of small businesses that are eking by. it would be hard on them if we raised the minimum wage. Yeah, small business owners in Canada blow my mind. I do not know how they stay in business.
Yeah, true heroes of today.
Well, it's just like I don't get how they can compete and pay, Live as Men, don't forget how shit the TV used to be in the UK. Only 4 channels.
It didn't really get better with 5, though, did it? Like, be fair. Like, there's not a lot of good shows on Channel 5.
Goggle Box.
Kind
of
Channel
stupid
4, innit?
shit is that?
Yeah, that's a silly program. That came out after. Came out after I left.
Jim Flagg would love to live in Switzerland. Yeah, of course you would. Why? Why Switzerland? It's a weird country to choose.
Yeah, I'd have to visit to have an opinion, but yeah, it's not the first place I'd think of.
Yeah, maybe somewhere else in Southeast Asia, if not Japan or Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia. Nah, too hot.
Yeah.
I mean, Taiwan's hot, but Singapore, Malaysia are crazy hot. Jason S. at 42, low wages because of the amount of people willing to do the job for less because it's just hard for them to find a job. So how is immigration not the issue? Yeah, 42 is getting piled on right here. This person says Croatia, Vietnam, Spain, Costa Rica are on top of my list.
Croatia's a good one.
Croatia sound, yeah, that's a good show.
That's a good shout.
That's not often brought up.
Beautiful.
What about Czech? I feel like that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
Prague.
Yeah. Heard a lot of good things about Prague.
Yeah.
The U.S. is strange right now because of the labor shortage. It is easy to find a job right now. So I think the problem is that Jim is talking about America, and the rest of us are talking about Canada. So I think we're both right. I think Jim is probably right in his argument if he's talking about the U.S., but in Canada, I think we're probably right. But Alan loves Gogglebox. He does love Gogglebox, but Alan just loves TV and spending time with his family. I don't think it's the TV shows themselves that he loves. I think it's the family atmosphere that the British television scene gives, which really shocked me. Like, his family, and I just assumed other British families, spend a lot of time like around the TV and like discussing shows. It's like a huge part of your culture.
Yeah, not personally for me, but yeah.
Prague is okay, pretty expensive, expat family, but friendly. Excuse me.
Jim Flagg, I would love to live in Spain. I think there's some wonderful parts of Spain. I wouldn't like to live in the particularly touristy parts, but I think there's some beautiful parts of Spain.
I wouldn't mind living in Italy.
Really? Why?
Women.
Good.
Italian women. Yeah. And sometimes for fun, like when I'm bored, I like to go to Google Maps and go to like the street view, and Italy looks cool. Like it just seems like
like stalk.
That's what I know about Italy.
To be fair, there's an Italian restaurant in my town, and I'm a married man, but I fell in love. Like, oh my gosh, she was gorgeous, beautiful woman.
Yeah,
serving me some all right food.
But she looked great, so the food was better.
Yeah, definitely. Big tip.
Yeah, for northern homes in the UK, TV plays a big part of family time. It's how I grew up. Okay, so it's a northern thing. Number one reason, the women. Yeah, well, come on. I recommend Portugal. I've heard very good things about Portugal as well.
Actually. Yeah, the Algarve's supposed to be beautiful.
Yeah, great wine too. Blair says, I think we need to define which job you're talking about, Jim, because I cannot find a job in the field that I want based on my education, but I can easily get a minimum wage job. Yes, minimum wage jobs. But this is American stuff. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that is a shame. That's a terrible. In fact, that's a big problem in Japan. Is that it sounds strange to say, but the population is almost overeducated. I think it's a very high percentage of people go to university and get a degree.
Oh yeah, so like, where do you get people to work in 7?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And that's where they end up going. They might be very well educated with a degree in a certain field, but they find themselves entirely overqualified
for like these jobs that they just don't. It's crazy.
Yep, wild, isn't it?
Yeah, Blair's gonna ship off to Europe anyways. Bye. Peace out.
You want it?
Yeah, Prague and Budapest were the 2 prettiest cities I've been to. Barcelona was amazing also.
Budapest, very good things.
Yeah. I wonder if Taiwan's going to run into that issue. Because especially like, because where we live, 7-Elevens and Family Marts are open 24/7, and they're absolutely everywhere. So that's like a huge workforce.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder how you married a Japanese woman when they don't talk. Like I'm just blown away that I haven't spoken to a single Japanese person my entire time here. It's like, how do you marry one when they don't talk to you?
We spoke to girls the other night.
No, we didn't.
Oh, no, we didn't. We didn't.
Your skilled job requires lots of experience, so people fresh out of school have a hard time. This again will change when the baby booms retire. I think the baby boomers like have retired.
Yeah.
You know, like when did the baby boomer generation end?
Yeah. I'm not sure. But
so,
yeah.
Yoga classes. Appreciate your comment.
Is that? I'm missing a joke there.
I have no idea. Half the baby boomers have retired. Yeah, I mean, I don't know any. My parents were baby boomers. They're pretty much retired.
Yeah, same as that.
Yeah. Well, to meet Japanese women. I mean, yeah, I would love to meet a Japanese woman, but it's impossible. It's actually impossible. I've been walking around. I've been going to cafes. I've been going to restaurants. Been to a few bars. I don't drink. So
we were around thousands of women.
Oh my God. There was a fireworks festival in Fukushima. And I swear to God, the entire prefecture was here to watch it.
I think so.
And what's really cool is when they have these like events, the people dress up in like their garb, like their, what are they called?
Yukata.
Yukata. It's like a summer kimono, like a thinner kimono for warmer weather. Jesus Christ, I was falling in love with every woman I walked by. It was horrible. I love you. 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 Insane. There's something like, I don't know. There's something about that dress that really does them up quite well. I sound like a weeb when I say it.
Yeah.
But it's a nice dress.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool looking.
It is cool.
Prazi, you have to be lost. Sumimasen eki wa doku desu ka? The fuck does that mean?
It means, excuse me, where's the station?
Sumimasen eki wa doku desu ka is where's the station?
Yeah, like where's the train station?
Prazi is way too shy to talk to women. That's true. I cannot bring myself to talk to women at a bar. I find that so cringe. Like you and I were talking about this, about how like, yeah, but it's better to talk to them and suffer the embarrassment than to not talk to them
and regret it afterwards.
Definitely,
100%.
Yeah, but I just have a hard time because, like, especially in Taichung. Wait, I thought Prazi had a girlfriend. I do not. Single for a couple of years now.
So single.
Yeah.
Desperately lonely.
I'm gonna go cry in your living room. Yeah, like because we always go to the same bars. It's like you don't want to be like that guy, like that foreigner, like as soon as a woman walks in, you know.
We're kind of getting dangerously close to a topic that we're dying to talk about, but we can't present in a way that doesn't make us sound like assholes. But when you move abroad, you will see some terrible behavior from foreigners, and you don't want to get anywhere close to that behavior. So,
yes,
right. So you don't want to be the asshole that's trying to chat out all the women in the bar, but because you're doing that so hard the other way, you end up not talking to anybody.
That's 100% how I feel.
Yeah.
Like when you're at the pub and you see some like, you know, this British. They're usually British, but they can be American too.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Or
mostly
Irish,
Canadian.
like the other night.
Or Irish. Good. Oh my God.
Right.
We went, so that really nice traditional, well, it wasn't traditional, but like this fireworks festival, and all these Japanese people are like funneling through these markets. It looked like a movie. It was insane. And in the middle of all of this, there's this Irish guy holding a strong zero, absolutely blasted. Like just going, welcome,
Sweaty,
welcome.
red-eyed, drunk.
Like didn't even, and we were like, what the hell are you doing, man? Where did you grow up where you think that's okay?
Yeah, he stood in the middle of this packed walkway,
Yeah.
like absolutely just, you know, people to people shuffling as you walk. Stood in the middle of it. Welcome everybody, welcome.
I felt embarrassed for it.
Welcome
To your
to the people that live here.
Yeah, to your own thing.
Yeah.
Oh my
You
god.
stupid fat idiot.
Yeah.
Welcome who?
It was so embarrassing. I was like, oh my god,
Yeah,
the same race as you.
Like,
Ugh. Jesus. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't even want to get too close to him because I didn't want all the people to think
Yeah.
that we were friends with him because we're all white.
Because they would, right? And he didn't say hello to us.
Fuck no, he didn't. Creep.
Yeah. But again, there are so many creeps when you move abroad, and like there are so many creeps. There's so many weirdos. There's a million reasons why people move abroad, but sometimes they move abroad because they're weird creeps, and you're so desperate not to be like them, it kind of stops you.
That's true. Yeah, and that's one thing I wanted to talk to Blair about. Maybe when I meet her, it'd be such an interesting video. Is like being a woman abroad, like what that does to you.
Oh yeah, right.
But that's a different topic. But yeah, yeah, you know, like so. Yeah, but like if you're at the pub and you see some British guy just like drunk off his tits, like feeling up a girl and like trying to take her home, and she's just like not having it. It's like if you go up and flirt with a girl like innocently enough, or just trying to be friendly,
Yeah.
you.
I don't want to be associated.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You should be more confident because you're a good person. No, I'm gonna see you next Tuesday, but I appreciate your nice comment. He has many girls who are friends. Come on now. Tinder.
A bit dead now. So of course.
I think you can see bad behavior in any country. Some people are just jerks. That's true, but foreigners in particular, I don't know if it's because they stand out, but like a lot of cases, they're unbelievably embarrassing.
Yeah.
Blair says, haha, we can definitely chat about that when we meet. It's wild. Yeah, I have so many questions. I tried making a video about it years ago, but it didn't go. I didn't get the main point across because I think it's really difficult for women who live in Asia who aren't into Asian men.
Yes.
Because, again, it's one of those things you can't talk about without sounding like an asshole. Like, let's say, for example, you're a Western woman and you're not particularly interested in dating Asian men. Like, you're just not attracted to them.
Yeah, sure.
Not racism.
No.
Just preference. Then your only option are the foreign dudes that are there.
Yeah.
But the foreign dudes are at the pub drunk, trying their best to take an Asian girl home.
Yeah, exactly.
So now nobody wants you.
Yeah.
Which is such a huge shift in a mindset when you're back in your home country, where if you go to the club or whatever, the nightlife there, there's a good chance that dudes will come up to you and talk to you and try to take you home.
Sure.
And you have that sense of validation, and you have that sense of like, I'm still pretty and boys like me, and you feel good. And like, who wouldn't want that feeling? I'm not judging them. That's exactly what people want to feel. But then you move here, you don't want Asian guys, and the white guys don't want you, and now nobody wants you, and then you lose all that validation. You think you're so I think that's why it's really tough. I think I don't know. I shouldn't talk for women. I'll get in trouble for that.
No, exactly. No.
Do you ever get accused of being a sexpat for just being a white person in Asia?
All day long, every day.
Yeah, in the comments, a lot of people think I'm a sexpat. But whatever. There are always cultural differences which can confuse people. These aren't cultural. What is with Jim? It sounds like everything I say you have to have. What do you mean by that? Cultural differences. These aren't cultural. It's not. To be in the pub. Is it cultural to be in the pub? Be so drunk to not even know where you are, grabbing women, flirting with them, trying to take them all home.
A behavior you wouldn't get away with in the West.
Yeah, if you tried that at the pub back home, do you think you'd get away with that? Is that your culture?
Face beating in.
Yeah. This isn't a cultural difference. This is like a weird dude behavior that get away with it because you're in a culture who doesn't get your culture.
Yep.
It's not like a cultural differences. And this is not being like, I'm not trying to be like this white knight defender of all women.
No.
I just find it kind of fucking annoying, you know? Like, and then you get associated with that because you're also like the same race.
Yep.
That's not culture. Like, there's so many behaviors here that you see foreigners do like if that Irish guy, for example, who's just blasted off his tits,
Yeah.
like talking to all these people who are like trying to avoid him because he's like he can't stand straight and he just reeks of whiskey.
Yeah.
And you're like, and back in your home country, they would call the police, put you in the drunk tank
exactly.
for like public disturbance, but he can get away with it here because no one wants to be anywhere near him.
Yeah, he's not going to stand in the middle of a festival, welcome everybody to the festival.
Yeah,
but he gets away with it here because Japanese people are just going to largely ignore him, right, and just try and skirt around and try and avoid him. Yeah, and then we come walking past, and we're associated with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I hate that so much.
Yeah.
You'll find your girl one day. Thanks, Queenie. Maybe it's Blair. I'm joking. Blair, even if you do like Asian guys, you get to see the not so great side of everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I can imagine.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I've heard some horror stories.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, that thing's probably really annoying.
It is.
Yeah, we'll end this. It's been 2 hours. Like in the U.S., it is so rude to smoke inside, but you can wear shoes inside. But it's the other way around in some countries. Yeah, but that's not what we're talking. Yeah. Okay. I think me and James are talking about more extreme things, right? I'll give you an example. Like we went to the onsen today, and I didn't know that I was supposed to dry myself off before going into the locker area. So I just walked into the locker area, and some Japanese guy, like, in his socks, stepped in my puddle. He's like, oh, and I felt terrible, right? But I didn't mean to do that. That was an honest cultural difference. For like, I don't know how onsens work. I'm not Japanese. I said sorry in English, and he like walked away all angry, and I felt terrible, right? But like, I made a mistake, and in my country, you can make a mistake, and I can get away with making a mistake in Canada.
Sure.
You know, like I can go to we have hot springs in Canada. We have resorts, and you can make mistakes in there, and you say sorry, and it's fine. But what you absolutely cannot do is go to the local pub, drink 12 beers, piss everyone off in the pub, and think you're going to get away from that. Like, scot-free? No. Not a cultural thing. Blair says, but yeah, foreign dudes overseas are yikes. Yeah. So
I would agree. I'm a foreign dude abroad.
Yeah, I think Blair lived in China and Taiwan for a while. I lived in Taiwan and China. You live in Japan, and it's the same everywhere.
Yeah.
They're just like weird dudes.
Yeah, yes.
Foreign alcoholics are disproportionate in Asia too.
There are so many alcoholics.
A lot.
There
was one
of
them.
Many people that drink way too much. As I sit here drinking beer, but it's not something I make a habit of.
No. Maybe running away from problems back home. Yeah, that's a big thing that people say, but I don't know.
We were talking about this today.
Yeah, huh?
We were talking about this today.
Yeah,
on the way to.
I don't even know if it's like running away necessarily from a particular problem. I think it's just like, I think what happens is that, and yes, we did. Yeah, kids before the age of 4, the number varies, but that's like the magic number. If they're not properly socialized, are weird for the rest of their life. They're just something. What are you looking for?
Crisps.
There's some up there still.
Oh, there is.
Do you want different ones?
Yeah. Nah, that's alright. I'll finish these. They're really thin.
Yeah, so they're weird. There's just something like socially off about them, and it's really hard to fix that. And I think that a lot of foreigners here are like that. They just weren't properly socialized as kids, and they're kind of weird, and they didn't really quite fit in. So they moved to Asia, where they won't fit in, but at least it matches the way they feel.
Yeah.
And they can kind of I don't know, get by here. So, yeah.
They kind of awkwardly stumble through.
Yeah. And like foreigners abroad are not indicative or are not a good representation of what people are like in those countries.
Definitely not. No, I've met some of the oddest British people here. Like the strangest. I'd never communicate with them in the UK.
Yeah, dude. The same.
Right.
I've met Canadians who are cunts. And it's like,
yeah, me too.
Yeah.
British people. Yeah. Yeah. Just wild alcoholics. Wild, like, people I'd never come across in my daily life in the UK. But like we're all just shoved here together.
Yeah. Proper like boozers.
Yeah.
Yeah. I heard once that getting socks wet in Canada has its own word, a soaker. Is this real or was I being trolled? A soaker. It's probably real. It's not a word I ever used, but I think what's happening is like when you step in snow and it's really deep and the snow gets into your boot and your socks get wet, it's really uncomfortable. But it's probably true. I don't know. You can look it up on Urban Dictionary. Vincent, is it true that Japanese wife cooks breakfast every morning?
Should be true, Vince.
There you go, Vincent.
Should
be
a
Japanese
It
wife.
should be.
Does she gently open your sliding paper door on her knees in a kimono and offer you a beer when you come home from work?
Yeah. And she says, "Okaini nasai, ogoshujin-sama."
Does she have a flying cat that she swoops down into to pick your child up from the closest oak tree?
She does.
I really want a Japanese wife.
Yeah. That's the life I live every day, and it's nothing like, you know. She doesn't do any of that.
Does she practice tea ceremony in the evenings?
Often.
And pour you a tea. It takes like 45 minutes to pour you.
Yeah. That happens, and then in between the intervals, she's flower arranging and things like that. Yeah. It's all completely true.
Yeah,
It's
she's an avid painter.
Yeah, she's not an alcoholic. she's not an alcoholic. She does work hard. She washes all my clothes.
Yeah, she washed my clothes.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Why?
I told her.
And fold them.
I know.
Doesn't fold my clothes.
I felt terrible. She really didn't have to do that.
My wife is not usual, and maybe that's true for
not your typical Japanese wife.
No. She loves boozing, and she's mental.
She's like British.
Yeah,
she's great though. Beffy Train Rosie PETA says, the same way I didn't want to go to the food stalls in Taiwan during rush hours, I didn't want to take the time away from the people that just pop in, eat quick, and move on. Yeah, I feel that way all the time. I hate going into Taiwanese restaurants that are busy because I'm there struggling, trying to figure it out. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. And meanwhile, there's like 15 Taiwanese people who just want to order food and fuck off. And meanwhile, I'm holding it up. I hate that feeling. So yeah, that's a big reason why I don't really eat that much Taiwanese food. I always get Uber Eats. I'll order Taiwanese food on Uber Eats, but I just hate bothering people.
Right. You don't want to like fanny and whinge around.
Shit. Yeah, you're trying to.
Because they're just like, oh my god, I got a million things to do today, and this stupid foreigners in front of me like ruining it.
Yeah, and you can just feel their eyes in the back of your head. I hate that.
And they're probably not thinking any of that, but that's definitely.
No, I know. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yes, travelers usually do not represent the country as an average, so it's just hard to judge the whole country because of one person. That's true. Yeah, we agree with you there. Finally, Jim. Living in China and Vietnam for 8 years, can't count how many times I've told locals, no, that's not normal back home. That person is just crazy or rude and inappropriate, etc. Yep. Absolutely true. But it gets a little unbelievable when like the 5th or 6th or 7th.
I was about to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I was about to say the same thing. Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, because I'm just like, no, they're weird.
Yeah,
and the next one comes on, they're weird.
Really weird.
Oh,
yeah, and then it's just like, okay, come on, they can't all be weird.
Yeah. When you said it for like the 8th time, they're like, yeah, I'm not believing you anymore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I like the Japanese lucky cats. The story behind them is so nice.
Kaneki Nichols.
Oh, we have those. Are those Japanese? I thought they were Chinese.
I thought they were Chinese. Well, they beckon in the money.
Yeah.
And there might be a story behind it that I don't know, but
maybe they are Japanese. I don't know. I figured because it was to do with money that it would be Chinese. They do love money. Got to love that sarcasm. Yeah. Sliding paper door made me laugh out loud. I mean, they have fucking doors made of paper. I don't know what to tell you. Dude, yeah, it's so cool. James has been showing me, we've been going on walks and stuff, and he's been showing me these houses that are built in the sort of traditional style. And they're not like old houses. It's just like maybe they were built in the 90s by some Japanese business person who made like $1 billion. And it's very expensive to do houses in that way. But it's very cool. They like take sticks and some kind of like, I don't know, maybe a bamboo mesh or something and pack it full of mud, and then that's your wall. And then they paint it white.
Yep.
It looks friggin' really cool, but now that you've explained it to me, like how they maintain that, I don't think I could do it. This shed is looks like a traditional Japanese house if it was a shed. I don't know, but it has that same kind of white wall, but it's made out of more of a modern material. Yeah. We shot an Emma Mattress ad today in your bedroom, and your bedroom it looks so Japanese. It's insane. The bed looks fantastic, and
Yeah.
it's full tatami mats, paper walls.
Yeah.
He has like sliding doors that go to like the outside of his house that looks over like a Japanese looking tree. I'm like, Jesus Christ, these shots are perfect. My house is a concrete box, so it's an absolute prison cell. Yeah.
Well, granted, when I lived in Tokyo, I lived in a concrete box.
You didn't have like wallpaper.
No, I think
piece of shit.
I think I have wallpaper.
Yeah,
I think I've always had wallpaper.
Yeah. You don't get wallpaper in Taiwan. You get a concrete wall, and you get tiled floors, and no paper doors, and no Japanese wives, and no one to fold your clothes.
That's right, David. It's called shoji. Yes,
What
that is correct. The paper doors are called shoji.
You don't actually have any paper doors in your house, though.
Not anymore. No.
Oh, you did?
Mm-hmm.
Get out of here.
Yeah. So I told you about those interior windows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we took away the paper doors so that we could put the. So yeah, it used to just be a single pane. So one thing about Japanese houses, you know, to us, like 36 years ago, is fairly recent. But even then, they weren't big on insulation, so we just had single pane windows. And recently, the government have been giving lots of grants to make your houses more energy efficient. So we took one recently, which we got interior windows, but it did mean that we had to get rid of all of our shoji, all of our paper doors.
I see. Yeah. I did see walking around that a lot of people have paper windows, and they're all like smashed in. Like they'll drop a broom, just go straight through the paper window.
Super easy to.
That's really annoying. Fraz, has 0% alcohol beers become popular in Taiwan yet? I had a couple of 0% dry Asahi stuff when I was in Japan a few months ago. Stellar stuff. Really? There is 0% beer in Taiwan. So there's like 0% Taiwan beer, but I hated it. It tasted so bad. And I did used to love the taste of beer, but I can't seem to find a 0% alcohol beer that tastes like beer. And plus, it's like now that I'm not drinking, it's like, do I really want all the negative health benefits, like the liquid water of beer with the, you know?
Yeah.
I may as well not. But no, yeah, I don't know if it's become popular, but you can definitely buy it. Did you meet some tachimbos?
Tachimbos? I'm not familiar with that word.
What is that?
I'm not sure. I'll have to explain it on tachimbos.
You guys made that video about James figuring out transportation and navigation in Taiwan with only English, right? Is it easy or is it harder to navigate Japan for the first time?
What a great question.
I find it not so bad in Japan. In Tokyo, the people at the station spoke some English. And when I got the Shinkansen to here, I just used the machine, which was completely in English. And your signs are in English. But again, that was Tokyo Ueno Station. I don't know that you would have similar luck in, you know, some like Hokkaido. Like I don't know. So I can't really speak to all of Japan. But I will say I don't think it would be nearly as easy as Taiwan. Taiwan is incredibly easy. What about you? Japan is kind of a pain in the ass?
Definitely. I felt like I could ask any question in Taiwan. I could say like, you know, you can ask very straightforward questions in Japan, and most staff will be able to answer them. Like, I would like to go here, please, at 12 o'clock. But I felt like in Taiwan, I could add nuance to that. I could be like, you know, I want to go here, but I want this kind of seat, and I want to be able to do this, and maybe like they would be able to take on a bit more.
Right, they had maybe a deeper understanding of the language rather than just a robotic here's the exact sentences that I know.
Yes.
Right, sure. It's pretty easy. Google Maps is your friend. Yeah, I definitely use a lot of Google Maps getting here.
Too.
Blair, you can get Taiwan beer gold medal 0%. They don't appear to be sold like the 18 days normally though, and it tastes terrible. How are the trains in Japan? I heard they're really good. Yeah, I took the Grand class up here. I had to for a video. I'm not a posh person. And it was wonderful. Not worth the money, but it was nice. A friend that builds log houses went to Japan and built one, and the man he built it for, then had him build an identical one right next to it. He was there for close to 2 years building them. Cool.
Nice. Awesome. That's cool.
Tachimbos is a tight farm fresh snapper, usually nice and hairy. Oh wow, nice one. I can't believe you made me say that. So this guy is a troll, and
Yeah.
he's constantly talking about his favorite subject.
I see.
Yeah, which is Minge. Lawrence, more people speak English to a decent level in Taiwan compared to Japanese people tend to be more shy. Yeah, Taiwanese people speak amazing English. It always blows my mind.
I think Japanese people are shy, but it's also just almost in the same way that like learning languages in the UK is not taken seriously. English teaching in Japan for most people. Of course, there are some people that can speak English here. For most people, it's not a big thing. They're not gonna speak English in their daily life. It's not something that they focus on.
Do they have monkeys in Japan? I watched Maoru the cat who's in Japan. He says he meows at them sometimes.
Yeah, there are monkeys. Yep, there are monkeys. There are
Right
monkeys
here.
like macaques things. Yeah.
We have macaques.
Macaques.
We have Formosan macaques.
Yeah.
They jump from the trees and steal all your shit.
Yeah.
The funny story about the Taiwanese macaque is that if you go to the Kaohsiung Zoo,
Mm-hmm.
they have these old uncles driving electric scooters with paintball guns, and they just light these fucking monkeys up in the trees because the trees aren't in the zoo, right? They just live there. Like that's their natural habitat.
Yeah.
And the monkeys will like come and like fuck with the people in the zoo, like steal their snacks or I don't know, like just like grab their things or grab purses or whatever. And so they have these uncles just like gunning them at a tree. It's hilarious.
No way.
It's so cruel, but it's so funny. Yeah, got to go to that minimum wage job. Y'all have fun. Catch you next time. Bye. I hope your minimum paid job isn't a hard one, Blair. And I'll see you in Taiwan.
Hope it's some fun to be had.
Yeah. We have none in the US, so it would be so strange. Monkeys?
Monkeys.
No monkeys in the US.
That's such a large piece of land to have no
monkeys at all.
Yeah, right.
I guess that makes sense. I can't think of one state that would have a monkey. Funny story about raccoons, and then we're going to end this podcast because it's very late. We've been going for 2.5 hours. It's very impressive. I didn't think we would do that. So raccoons are native to North America. You can only find them there. And us North Americans know that they are annoying. But in the 70s, there was this children's show about a little Japanese boy who had a pet raccoon. It was very popular. And so all of these Japanese parents, I suppose they were rich, I don't know, imported North American raccoons from North America to Japan to give to their kids as pets, which I cannot believe was allowed. How do you just do that? Did they sneak them in?
Those raccoons are clever.
Yeah, but like, how do you ship raccoons? I don't know. Anyways, but this is a true story. We as North Americans know that raccoons don't make pets. They're incredibly intelligent, but we can't domesticate them because they bite and they carry rabies and they're just like independent and they don't like people per se. They're cunts. Raccoons are cunts. And Japanese people found out this the hard way when these friggin' raccoons were just going haywire on their kids and messing with their stuff and biting them and scratching them. But they didn't know what to do with these raccoons, so they just threw them into the forest, just like, fuck this raccoon, and threw it back into nature. However, raccoons are like cockroaches. They cannot be killed.
Yep.
They like shag like rabbits, I believe is how the term goes. And they have lots and lots and lots and lots of babies. And so these raccoons became an invasive species and started to eat the eggs of like all these Japanese. I think a whole bunch of like native Japanese species went extinct because the North American raccoon just ate all of them. I can't remember exactly what the animal was. But now, to this day, in 2024, Japan has a huge North American raccoon problem.
Gosh, yeah.
Still.
Yep, it does. And it's funny that Prosy brought this up without any prompting. Just a fun thing you heard. I think about a month ago, my wife's grandmother on her farm found a North American raccoon, and it kept going into their shed and kind of like eating their preserves. And in Japan, if you catch one, which they did, they put out a little cage. You're not allowed to let it go. You're not allowed to not kill it.
You have to kill
You
it.
have to kill it.
But how do they expect the people here to kill them? Because people here don't have guns, right?
No, so they, I mean, kill
Animal
things without
control?
guns.
Sure, yeah, but like a
UK
raccoon?
stabby.
Yeah, but a raccoon though?
No, yeah. So they call, like, you're not allowed to release it. So you call the pest company.
I see. So you have to catch the fucking thing first, or can you call them and they'll?
I think you call the pest company. They'll put a cage down. But
Right.
yeah, you're not allowed to release it. It's illegal to release it. That might be more accurate to say.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
No raccoons in Japan, but they do have raccoon dog tanuki with mythically large. Oh yeah, those things. The ball sack things.
Yeah.
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 There are raccoons in Japan.
There are raccoons in Japan. I've got pictures to prove it.
So, do Sasquatch count as monkeys? They are all over U.S. The Bigfoot is everywhere. Yeah. In Japan, is Japan stuck in the 90s, mid 2000s, or do you feel like the future, like in China?
Japan is stuck in 1985. You can still buy fax machines. Certain government documents still need to be sent by fax. They still use like stamps to sign things.
Same in Taiwan.
Yeah.
In China.
Not
the fax thing, but the stamp thing.
Yes. Yeah. You can still buy VHS players in
That's
Japan.
kind of sick, though.
Yeah. I mean, it's
like
yeah, but it's looped back around. Like now, it's like, oh, that's cool. Maybe I can. Yes. Now it's nostalgic, right? But yeah.
Okay, but you don't think it's stuck in the 80s, as in like you can't use your card anywhere?
That is really recent. That is super recent. Like,
okay,
I can, even in my short years here, there was so many occasions where I couldn't use my card. I could take you to a restaurant tomorrow. You can't use your card.
Yeah, I mean, time was the same. It was a very cash-based society, but I don't think saying it's stuck in 87 is a bit much. Like, you have the internet, you know?
Yeah. No, we do. We've got good internet.
Yeah, I'm in your shed, live streaming from a shed.
Yeah, that's true.
You know?
All right. In some respects.
You have a shed.
The Japanese government's only just stopped using floppy disks.
Taiwanese people don't have a shed.
They don't have sheds.
No. Who has a shed? And it's made of wood. Nothing is made of wood in Taiwan. Wood doesn't exist in Taiwan.
There's no trees.
None. But yeah, I do know what you mean. I suppose, yeah, like things like that are really annoying. And I have heard that about Japan. Getting anything done, fucking annoying.
Really, really difficult. If you get to, there was a local hospital, and they would only get all your records on paper, and it would take them ages to go and get your records in this giant room that you can see behind the reception desk. Just reams and reams and reams, millions and millions of files of all these patients. Yeah, just because
you'd be dead by the time they found your thing.
Yep.
Japanese, I think, like to keep old tech in good repair and don't throw it out like we do.
That's a really romantic way to look at it. I think. I'm not saying that that's not true, perhaps, but they don't like to change the way things are done, and they like. There's a saying here, and people that live here will get it. It's like, yeah, nothing in Japan changes until it does, and nobody wants to put their hand up and say that this is inadequate or this shouldn't be done this way, right? Because that's you're going against
the current.
Yeah, you're going against the current. You're going against the grain. Like you're and who are you to change? Who are you one single person to change all this, right? So even if everybody's thinking it, they generally won't.
Right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Download and upload speeds in Japan? Your internet's pretty good now?
Yeah, internet's pretty good. Yeah. I think because this is on Wi-Fi.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's impressive.
Yeah.
It looks great.
But if we were hardwired, yeah, it's pretty good. I'm not sure the numbers off the top of my head.
HR department spent a month opening a bank account for me in central Vietnam. I couldn't do it myself by regulation.
Wow.
Yeah. I think this live stream's been going on for 2.5 hours. I think
that's a long one. Yeah,
we're good to go. So thanks for being on my live stream, man.
Yeah, thank you, and thanks everyone else, because that was awesome. You guys had great questions. I loved chatting to you guys.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, this chat this time was fantastic. I should really start streaming on desktop more. Yeah, me and James are gonna film another video tomorrow. I gotta edit that video pretty much all day tomorrow, and then we'll see what kind of trouble we get into. Should be a fun time if we even wake up, because it's 2:15 in the goddamn morning.
And I'm gonna spend a night on an Emma mattress now.
Oh, that's right. You have a brand new Emma mattress. Me and you just put it in today, and I'm hoping, I'm hoping you enjoy that. But thank you guys so much for. Really? They have fax machines in 7-Eleven in Taiwan?
They do? Right.
I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep your stick on the ice. Stay positive. Catch you guys on the next one. Don't know if I'll have a video ready for this Friday because I'm waiting for clients and all this other kind of nonsense. But yeah, thanks for joining. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my trip in Japan. Bye! That's not the right button.
Yeah.
End stream says right there.
Bye.
Bye. Whoa, Alan. Bye. Was he still here this whole time? Jesus.
Bye, Alan.
Bye.